What is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome to another installment of the Casually Chelsea show. A day later than usual because I couldn't do it last night because I had, other things to, prioritize, like drinking beer on an Oktoberfest in the high mountains of New Jersey. But yeah, that's basically what I was doing, hanging out with friends because, from time to time, I do deserve a little break.
You don't deserve a
From
break.
everything that I do. Listen, I didn't ask you, but now that you did speak up, welcome everyone to the channel. This is the panel that we're going to start off with today: the Bridge 258, or the Bridge Nation, or the Bridge, aka Ahmed, aka the Bridge, aka
See what you doing,
the
chat?
Bridge Nation,
What a hater.
aka Raheem Sterling Lover, aka we continue. Also, big up to Real Chris down below, and I am your host, Marshalldbdx. Casually FC, whatever you want to call me, casually. Ladies and gents, it's been a really dry week for news. Not really much to discuss, but we do have some things for you guys to discuss, and I think we're going to have some interesting topics in today's show. So if you are new here, subscribe. If you are a returning member, then be sure to hit that like button. Help us out by hitting the like button. It helps out with the algorithm. Be sure to hit the bell notification so you're notified whenever we do go live. Check out the links in the description down below. Leave a comment if you're watching this in the future, and check out our memberships because we have 4 different tiers starting at 99. Now that I said all that, though, let's start off with our first topic, which is always an interesting topic every single year. We always have this same issue, and we might still come out with the same outcome. But I guess it's good to have everyone's opinion on just how BS a lot of the refereeing has been so far in the first 5 games of the EPL. So we're going to start off with the discussion on refereeing in the Premier League. So let me go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see the first tweet that's going to start us off today. So we have here from Kieran Gill: the Premier League are looking into the social media targeting of Anthony Taylor after his involvement in Chelsea win over Bournemouth on Saturday, which broke record for cards brandished. We continue on. Several angry Premier League clubs are set to put the heat on referees Chief Howard Webb over what they claim is a series of mistakes by officials this season. Now, off the top of my head, I can think of obviously yesterday's game, not yesterday's game, the day before his game being, actually, we could even discuss yesterday's game, even though I'm pretty convinced Trossard did earn a second yellow. But then we have even Wesley Fofana not getting a penalty called against him in our game. Multiple the Bournemouth game, obviously, where we had 14 yellow cards.
Like Colwell's, a clean challenge led to a yellow.
That's also true. Yeah, in that game, Bournemouth as well. So there's a lot of inconsistencies, and there's a lot of discussion as to how VAR is used in these scenarios. And we go back to that statement, right? That blanket statement in the beginning, if you guys remember, which is blatant and obvious errors made by the ref. That's the only time that the VAR is going to be used, which I disagree with. But then again, we talk about the pacing of the game and so on and so forth. VAR is way too much and all this and that. Well, let's discuss it. I mean, where are we? Obviously, still having issues with the refereeing, VAR. I guess, Ahmed, if you want to kick us off with this one, where are you at with the whole refereeing situation right now?
It's a good question, Jeff. Honestly, I just don't know, man. I personally, I don't really think there's that much of an issue. All right, listen, a little bit of trolling aside, of course, right?
Call me Jeff. I was so confused.
It's a little meme. That's a meme. That's how I was trying to meme for a little bit to have a little bit of fun. But I think on an honest note, in regards to refereeing, I don't think there's been that much of a issue refereeing wise. I think obviously with the Chelsea game, when we at the end of the day, bro, we can't control what these guys do, right? If these guys are gonna make decisions, they're gonna make decisions. And I've said this before. In football, you've just got to make your own luck. You just got to deal with everything and to make it work. Otherwise, we're going to be falling into the trap of like blaming the referee every single time. You have to have some level of self-control, whether you want to admit or not. I look at the game, for example, with Trossard. Trossard had a lack of self-control, right? He already knew that his own team had previously been reporting themselves for João Pedro for kicking the ball out. Rice didn't understand the memo. Now he didn't. Now he's doing it, and he didn't understand the memo too. So you know what I mean? That is where sometimes it comes down to also the players themselves being logical in their approach and what they're trying to do.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, man, simple as that. But I think for me also, when it comes to Chelsea, obviously we have our kind of our issue, obviously, with Anthony Taylor himself, right?
Of course.
And I think for me, the reality is, on some level, we have to look at the Chelsea. What's it called? The Chelsea as a board. Why are they not complaining? Why are they not? Well, because we can say a lot of stuff here about a lot of other clubs. But the thing about Liverpool is, you know what Liverpool is doing? Liverpool's actually complaining and they're getting stuff done. But Chelsea aren't. If Chelsea were to do that, then I think that changes the game. Because the only people who are complaining right now at Chelsea is the players and the managers. So the players and the manager.
I disagree with you.
Go ahead, Brian. You disagree.
First of all, hello everyone. Yes, us complaining wouldn't do anything. We know Liverpool are like the media darlings. If they were to speak out, it makes a difference for them. But for Chelsea, it's been going on for years. We've had people speak out on this. Tuchel spoke out, 2 years ago?
Well, that's why I said it's the players and the managers, bro, not the ownership.
Jose has consistently spoke out on this. Like our ownership boldly saying something, or Bali, or who's our captain, Reece James, or whatever, or Maresca. That's not going to make a difference. For me, and I say this about other fans as well, rival fans who complain about referees. You guys are never consistent about it. Arsenal fans who were crying about Trossard being sent off. No Arsenal fan said anything when Kai Havertz made that challenge at the start of the game. I've never, like, you guys have never heard me complain about referees because I don't care. I'm more concerned about my players doing their job correctly and my manager doing his job correctly. And also, fans in general don't care either because no one's going to be consistent. But why would if other fans aren't going to call out things that go against their rivals and go in favor of Chelsea, then why should I take it seriously? I remember a few years ago on the terrace when people were, I think we played Newcastle or something, and Chelsea fans were crying about decisions going against us. And I said that that's not the reason why we lost the game, because we didn't put our chances away. But people kept crying about referees. People will cry when people won't point out when things go in our favor that shouldn't either. So that's why my thing is, I don't like, referees are going to be incompetent, fine. Like, whether it's an actual conspiracy, I don't believe that. I just believe that they just make mistakes because they're human. Like, who cares? And even if it is an agenda, even if they are being targeted, fine. Then don't be stupid enough to make yourself be a target. If Anthony Taylor, if he's actually has something against Chelsea, then whenever he's our ref.
All right, the Nigerian Wi-Fi kicked in. Big up to
really
Prime
did.
for the comments.
It really
you know what I mean?
did.
Love for the love.
I mean,
Prime.
I actually agree with Prime.
Oh, sorry. What? Where did I cut out?
You were saying that, even if he had agenda against us.
Oh yeah, even if
Well, it's about
referees
Anthony
do have an
Taylor,
agenda against us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't your players, like at least Chelsea players, I hope they now know that maybe if Anthony Taylor actually doesn't like us, if he's our ref, you don't do something stupid to warrant getting sent off. That's my thing. Don't do something stupid that would warrant you getting a stupid yellow card for whatever reason, and then you get sent off. Don't give him the opportunity to do that.
The ammo.
That's my thing. If you don't give a referee an opportunity for you to get booked for something, then odds are you're not gonna get, So that's my thing. That's what I'm more concerned about. I can't change things. I can't change the world, but I can change my reaction to things. I can, if our players are more aware of things and they try not to play into that, then that's not gonna happen. So Trossard, if he didn't put in that challenge when he's already on a yellow card and then kick the ball away, he wouldn't have got a second yellow and got sent off. That's on Trossard. That's not on the referee having an agenda against Arsenal.
That's what I said, bro. That's what I said, actually. I don't know if you heard me.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah,
I
no,
was
I know.
using because like the thing about the Trossard thing is that again Arsenal themselves have complained about it. Then Rice made the mistake there, so clearly he should know by now that my team's complained about it. We've lost a player to a red card because of it,
Rice
and now he
actually
decides to do it
agreed
to
with
you.
the decision, by the way. He actually said it's his mistake when he got that red card. So, on interview.
Oh,
Mhm.
Trossard
And
did.
so
No,
Or
no, no,
Rice?
no, 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 Rice for kicking the ball out. He shouldn't have done it
Okay,
because it's stupid.
but
And
I
that's
mean,
I actually agree with what Prime said. Basically, bang
so
on.
let me ask you guys a question, and I'll go to Chris first to give you a chance to open up this discussion as well. There were fans yesterday claiming that obviously that red card changes the game, right?
I mean,
And there were fans claiming that the referee should have known the gravity of the game, right? And should not have given him a second yellow, because it's a big game. You take away from the game by sending him off, and this kind of goes into the Bournemouth game where like Anthony Taylor was giving out very, very easy yellows. Do you think, Chris, that another part of the issue now is that we're using the yellow too lenient, and we're not letting the game be as aggressive as it used to be?
to some extent, yes. I think
And how do you feel about that in terms of the game as well yesterday?
like with the game yesterday. Yes, you can say it ruined the game, but I also say in the law of the football, you can't kick
Yeah.
the ball to waste time. And the thing is, I think it's all context. He pushed the player over, right, with his arm, right, and that isn't a yellow card, of course. But then he kicks it away straight away, so the ref was not messing with it. He just sent him off and said yeah, that's just the rules. To me that was Trossard's fault, and you can blame the referee all you want, but Trossard, how about just blame Trossard for being so stupid at that point, because you shouldn't boot the ball away like that. And they used Doku obviously as well. Like, oh, Doku kicked the ball. No, the referee told him to kick it back, and he literally just passed it. He didn't boot it or nothing. So it's not the same context.
they showed actually they did a really good thing on what's it called, BBC on Match of the Day 2, where they actually showed that the referee asked him to kick it back. That's why he didn't get what's it called yellow carded.
If you want to change the rule, like say for example, you boot the ball away and you give him a warning, say he's on the yellow card and that's your last warning. If you do that again, I'm sending you off. Maybe if you change the rules, but I'm just saying, Prime. If they change the rules like that, then yeah, fair enough. But they haven't, so you just got football players.
He got sent. He was already on a yellow. He got sent off because of the challenge, and you also add in the fact he kicked the ball away. But in terms of what you asked, Marshall. Like, what makes you dictate what a big game is?
I guess that would have to be it's a big six. Any big six teams up against each other.
But that's not fair. Like Ipswich are in a relegation battle all season. When they play,
I feel like that's a big game too.
But Ipswich playing Southampton is just as big as Ipswich playing Palace or Ipswich playing Chelsea. Every point for them matters. So should the ref not ref their games as fair as a top six game? No. Like for me, the ref should referee the game itself. Not the occasion is on the players. Like referee the game. The game is the game. Referee the game how it should be. I think Fulham v Arsenal was a big game. Yeah, like referee the game as it is. And that's my thing. The fact that we're still talking about the ref when it's on Trossard, it doesn't baffle me. It's Arsenal fans, but like, if your players don't
on the refereeing, anyways, but not just the game. But
I know, but like we know the referees are incompetent, so don't give them a reason to be even more incompetent.
No, and I agree. I think I agree with what Jez is saying in the comments. The rules are the rules, and even if the shoulder push or the push from behind of Trossard isn't a foul, the kicking the ball away is, right? Like it has to be, because if you're going to be consistent with what you did to Declan Rice earlier this season, sending him off, then you have to keep it consistent with Trossard. So I think regardless, I think the decision was fine. Listen, at the end of the day, I care more about the integrity of the rules of the game than I do about the intensity and the entertainment factor. At the end of the day, Trossard, you're an idiot for getting yourself sent off. You arguably lost that game for your team, and you're gonna have to hold that. I'm not gonna sit here and bitch and moan that like, oh, the referee ruined the game by sending him off. He should have just kept him on. It would have been more entertaining. I don't care. At the end of the day, what happened. It sets a storyline. It sets a narrative as well, and I think it's better that way. I'm more interested in the integrity of the rules than I am the outcome of the game or what I'm watching on the TV, the entertainment of it.
Like, it's weird that we live in a day and age where fans have more, what's the word? Standards? They have more vim for the referees than they do their own players. Crazy. Like, 10 years ago,
so many years of bad refereeing.
Like, Chelsea fans weren't crying about referees like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, because we were winning. I don't hear any fans complain because they win. Just win, and no one cares about anything else.
Do you know what it's, Marshall? And I think Prime is right in this. At the end of the day, bro, you shouldn't be relying on the ref to make decisions, bro. You should be relying on your own football to make you win games.
Also, talking about that game, let's not forget Arsenal was very violent in the first 10 minutes or so in that game. They was tackling so recklessly, like Prime said, Kai Havertz, and what they did to Rodri as well. They was on his case, like just fouling him and stuff like that. They was quite rough that game. So,
but
it's no surprise they got red.
And I'm not even trying to pose an argument here, but now I'm kind of putting myself in the other perspective, and in devil's advocate, right? Like, I also feel that I agree. We shouldn't depend on the ref to win us games and all that stuff, or whatever. We have to win games regardless. But to a certain extent, I think we have to take into consideration player welfare. Because I'm noticing this season, and someone pointed this out, is that it seems that Cole Palmer's starting to get the Eden Hazard treatment, where players are just going after his ankles and stuff, fouling him on purpose intentionally. And it's going to lead to injuries at some point. And sometimes we have players that get away with way too many fouls and way too many warnings when they should be sent off. I mean, prime example of this was Crystal Palace, where, we should have won that game, and I'm not blaming the referee for that, but there was some blatant fouls in that game that's like, okay, this player's not playing the game. He's just fouling the player. He's playing the whistle. Like, surely to an extent, we have to think about player welfare when it comes to like getting these decisions right and being more consistent.
I agree.
Fair enough.
No, but I feel like, again, that's something we can all agree on. The reality is, it's just not gonna happen, bro. It's just like, again,
unfortunately,
it's just we can't control human error. We can't control, the situations, the conditions that happen on the pitch. I mean,
that's true.
Like, again, like the players themselves. At the end of the day, bro, all you can do is control yourself. How you play. How can you mitigate yourself without needing the ref to do so for you? Because you can't rely on these refs. It's already proven you can't rely on them. So just keep it pushing.
100%. No, 100%. I mean, speaking of keeping it pushing, let's go ahead and keep it pushing on to the next topic then. And
18 minutes
I'm going to need... Yeah, no, listen, it's always a topic that I think I like to visit from time to time, because we're still seeing it. We're still seeing the issues, and there's still controversy. And like, just when you think the controversial things are behind you, you have Anthony Taylor coming out with 14 yellow cards. Like, that's just ridiculous.
He needed I don't know, man. He needed a pay rise or something that day.
Who knows?
Extra money.
But I'm going to need you guys to help me with this one, because I need to clarify what exactly is going on. I didn't have time to find the tweets, but this is overall the summary of what I found, or at least a bit of what I found. So Chelsea being sued, and I don't think sued is the right word, but they are going to court for money that is owed. So Chelsea will apply to have agent Saif Ruby's £3 million high court claim thrown out. They're moving to have the court proceedings quashed, insisting the case has been filed incorrectly and should be dealt with by the FA through an arbitration. Now, I believe this has somewhat to do with money owed to this agent for a transfer that was made under Marina Marina Granovskaya's time?
He has a case against Marina right now. He's fighting a case against Marina.
I mean, all that money got
It's a
froze up,
transfer
man. You
though,
gotta
right?
wait.
No, yes, but I'm just saying he's actually in court already with Marina Granovskaya. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm asking, because I actually haven't really been in the loop on this one. But do we
But you
know what
reported on this,
transfer or
bro.
what player?
I think you're not
Oh, I
mistaken.
reported in a while ago, but I thought that was I didn't think it was this guy. I thought it was just
It was. It was to do with the transfers related to this guy. Yes, that's why.
But is it the Willian transfers too? Like those
Yeah,
transfers?
no. He's to do with the Rudiger transfer, bro.
Oh, the Rudiger transfer. I didn't know that part.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, so I listen. I guess good on Chelsea to not get more involved with this. Whatever. I mean, I don't think it's. I don't know. It's in the show.
Is it really
To be honest,
Marina,
it's in the
though?
show.
Because like she's not the
Yeah.
one who should really realistically.
No, he has he's recently been fighting a case with Marina. He has a case with her already. Like that's been going on separately to Chelsea. It's separate.
And
No, but again, that one's separate to Chelsea. That one's separate. It's like a separate case to do.
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned that case.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we'll keep track of this. I mean, I don't really know if anyone really cares about this.
3 million.
3 million is 3 million, but at the same time, it doesn't look like this is going to relate to Chelsea at all because they're telling him to go to the FA. So, hey, it is what it is. I mean, this is the continuation of the stuff that we spoke about last year, I think, right? In regards to Marina Granovskaya going to court and all that stuff. I remember mentioning it, but I don't remember the guy's name ever being mentioned. So now this is, I guess, a development on that story. So, I mean, unless you guys have any more 2 cents to add on this, I think this is a little bit of a quick touch and pass, touch and go kind of thing.
But again, this is the sort of thing that we just spoke. That this is some of the stuff that I was talking about with like the previous with big up to Abramovich and the previous ownership, where it's like, you know what I mean? This is the sort of stuff. Yeah, if this had come out right now under him, this is the sort of stuff that could put the club into very big deep water. By the way, you know what I'm saying to you? Like, so
How so? How do you reckon?
because bro, we would have had someone like Marina and him, and him. We would have had someone like we would have had something like this court case under Abramovich, who would probably be under a lot of pressure considering the stuff to do with the Arab stuff and like all the other stuff as well, right? So like, you know what I'm saying to you, the Man City charges, everything like that, and then you got cases like this happening as well. Doesn't probably help you.
Are you implying that like if this case doesn't go in our direction or in our way, it could open up a potentially another can of worms?
Exactly, and plus, you know,
okay.
Rambo, you still have the Vitesse stuff that happened, which probably could have gotten related to us, right, with Abramovich too, right? So this is what I'm saying to you. Like, a lot of the transfer stuff under Chelsea, bro, uncomfortable
It is
conversation.
shady. I mean, yeah, there is some shady things in there, so I won't deny it.
That's why when Chelsea fans were crying when this ownership exposed all the dodgy stuff that was happening under Roman, that was a good thing. So when things like this come out, we can be honest and say, we showed you everything that's gone wrong. If you're going to try and punish us, it's not our wrongdoing. Like, you know, people won't.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's why, bro. Because this would only imagine this. We've got the historic transfers. If they still existed, would not be historic because that would basically be similar to the 115 charge essentially. That would have happened. Plus the Vitesse stuff that would have gone exposed. Then plus this, that's going on in the background. That's like a hat trick of like situations, bro.
Like with City, right? Like whether or not City are innocent or guilty, like is irrelevant of your opinion. But what's going on with City is they are refusing to show evidence of things. At least with us, we're showing evidence of everything. So whether we're in the right in some things or we're in the wrong or happened under Roman, we've shown evidence of what's been going on. So we can't get punished as badly per se for it. But as you were saying, Marshall, it's a short topic. Come on, man. Let's get to the meat and the bones of it. Let's talk to why we're really here.
Oh my god.
Come on, there is some meat and bones to this next topic, so let's go ahead and move on to this. Players set to protest. Okay, well, let's discuss why. So, as you guys know, overinflated fixture schedule. We have here Enzo Maresca making comments. Enzo Maresca believes only football players have the power to take action against the sport's bloated calendar, but insisted none of his Chelsea squad would ever ask to be left out of a game. And then we follow that up with John Terry saying that he insists players do want to play in the Club World Cup and say it's once in a lifetime opportunity. Rodri has suggested that players could go on strike due to the increased fixture schedule. Now we've seen Kevin De Bruyne come out and discuss this as well as who else came out with Rodri in solidarity?
Bernardo Silva.
Bernardo Silva, yeah. Yeah, but what were you gonna say, Amma? Go ahead.
You know, it's kind of ironic of Rodri. Like, well, it's still alleged he's got a serious knee injury right now. Now, that's from David Ornstein. The reports from ESPN are saying obviously there might be an ACL.
Like he's out for the season.
You're right, and so it's like, wow, it's kind of ironic. You know, he was talking about all of his game pictures and stuff like that, and all what it could lead to, and then for him to get something which may or may not be an ACL tear, right? If we believe some of the news reports coming out. That's kind of crazy, bro. I don't know about you, bro. It's like he literally predicted for lack of a better word, what's gonna happen to him, for lack of a better word, if that makes sense.
I mean, I feel okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously, to an extent, I do suffer from recency bias, but I don't recall this many ACL injuries ever happening in this frequency.
No. The ACL injuries have been increasing. In general, it's been happening since I think post-COVID.
Yeah, knee
as well.
injuries in general. We'll just say knee injuries, not just ACL.
No. It's ACL injuries that have been increasing because there's not been that many actual like MCL tears that you've been hearing about. Because those are common injuries, like the stuff like for example that my boy Chukwemeka had. That's a common injury, by the way. That's not something that's what's it called? That can happen. But like the ACL stuff is like really like been happening at a high rate. Like usually for like in the women's game, it's a common thing because like I don't know if you know this, it's easier for women to actually like tear their ACLs. Like that's actually like so that's something that I found out myself recently. That's why a lot of in the house. Yeah, so I didn't know that until like I actually found out recently. But like the men's in particular, bro, everyone's just tearing their ACLs like quite regularly, and it's like I don't know. And part of it is like, is it because the number of games? Because the number of games that the teams that are not in Europe are playing is pretty much the same, right? Like, if we're being realistic, I think Prime would agree with me. You guys would agree with me too. Like, if you're not in Europe, you're playing probably on average the same amount of games. Maybe you might get an extra 2 games here in the FA Cup for a bit longer. You know, the usual stuff, right? But like,
it's the games like Carabao Cup or
but
the pointless international breaks. Those are the games where I feel like I would scrap the Carabao Cup. I don't see the point in it.
No, but like I think my issue is the Carabao Cup. I don't think is a problem for any team on the 6th place. I'll be realistic, bro. Anyone that's not in Europe,
I think the big teams should not playing it.
So for me, fundamentally, that's the issue you've got, right? I think the
these
issue
clubs should either if they want to go in it or not go in it, have the choice.
No, I don't think that's gonna be. I don't think they'll allow that.
It's not realistic. I know. It's probably not realistic.
My issue is that the reality is, bro, like a lot of these multiple games affect basically the top 6 clubs. Plus maybe an Aston Villa or plus maybe like a Brighton who may or may not, join us in those ranks, right? Every now and then. That's who is really gonna be like affected by these situations at the end of the day. Now the problem
might be good enough. By the way, we got that.
Yeah. So I think the issue you have here is that it's a twofold issue. Right now, part of it you could make the argument is that yes, there needs to be less games because you want to have the same amount of squad wise to be able to make sure these guys can rest and relax, right? But then I think an argument would be made or a rhetorical argument could be made by UEFA and them not be like, do we really? I don't think that's the case. Like, why do you make your squads bigger? Why do you add 3 or 4 more players, maybe from your academy, maybe from somewhere else, right? It doesn't matter how good they are, how good or not they are. Get them to play in those games. You know what I mean? That's on you. That's on your management.
I don't get the problem.
Maybe
for Rodri, maybe for Rodri specifically, because City don't really have a replacement for him in the team, so he gets overused. But for Pep, this whole Pep roulette exists for a reason, because he's always rotating his sides. So I don't think that necessarily is a problem. And also, like, if you're assuming, if we take a Premier League team, say if you're going deep in every competition, you're playing 50, 55 games. That just have a bigger squad.
That's
But I
my
don't
thing.
think again. I don't get. Yeah, I don't get the. I really don't get the whole.
But
problem
Realistically-
do you think
realistically-
funding can cause an issue that like not everyone can afford a big squad? Do you
But
think that could
then,
be an
guess
issue?
what, Marshall?
No, but
Why do we
you
have
can,
academies? Why do we have
Does everyone
academies?
have an
Marshall?
academy?
No, but Marshall, you can
Yes,
afford a big squad.
Yes, every single Premier League team has an academy, bro.
Marshall.
Even yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Mark.
You can. You said everyone can't afford a big squad. You can.
Dude,
Like what? Who can't afford a big squad?
I don't know.
If you're
like,
planning, yeah. Sorry. No, you go. Sorry.
No, because I'm thinking like Nottingham Forest, we know had a really big squad because they have money, but I don't see other teams like a Burnley or now we're seeing Ipswich, even though Ipswich have recruited a bit too. Or what's the other team besides Ipswich?
Southampton.
Southampton too. Well, I don't see them having enough. I guess being in a transfer window enough to like get more players. I don't know if that's a funding thing or if that's just lack of ambition from their directors.
But Ipswich and Southampton, they are playing. Let's assume they win a round in the Carabao and FA Cup. They're going to play
many games,
40. Yeah, they're playing 40 games a season. Like you play more games in the Championship than you do in the Prem. And that's not including the playoff games you play in the Championship if you finish second to sixth. So again, I don't see when you're City, you can afford to have a 30-ish man squad of quality players because you just rotate enough. Chelsea have even though we have a 22, 23 man squad, we have a lot of quality in our squad. We can not play Palmer and play Nkuku. We can play Madueke, Felix, Sancho, even Mudryk that people shit on. If he's still good enough to play certain games. We have no Reece James, no Gusto, and yet we're still dealing pretty well at right back. We have Cucurella or Vega. We have enough quality depth. It's about your strength in your depth. So I don't like people complaining, but I personally don't see the problem. And also these international games, these friendlies, I don't have a problem with the international break. I love watching international games. However, if you know your team, your country is playing an international friendly or a pointless international game that you may not say you've already qualified for a World Cup or an international tournament and you're playing just the end of those qualifiers, you can request to not go. Palmer did it, and that's the last international break. They claimed he had an injury and he didn't go with England. He stayed. So there's so many ways to go around this that I don't get the constant complaining.
That's my issue, Prime, with it, by the way, bro. I agree with you. The problem is, listen, guys, let's be realistic, At the end of the day, these clubs can pay money to get to either use their own academy players to play in some of these lower round gamers, to actually play for them. And they listen, they don't even need to pay them that much. They already paid them. They want a contract, play these games for me, please. Or if you really do need that level of quality, buy that player. You know what I mean? Go into the market and get that player on a contract. I don't understand what the issue is. Again, this does not affect, by the way, boys and girls, the tops, anyone from the top six, except maybe barring a Brighton and a West Ham. Realistically speaking, and Aston Villa, those are the only other three sides I could make an argument for. This could affect. Everyone else is not affected by this, and that's why, by the way, no player protest will take place because a lot of these other players aren't playing that many games. So it's going to be
saw it there in the quote too. These players actually want to play these games, and that's true. I mean, obviously, these players want to play like that. This is why they're in football. They love the sport. They want to play the sport, and that's fine. I just think I don't think the issue. Because I think this is how some people see it. Some people see it as that they're playing too many games, they can't recover, yada, yada, yada. There's not enough room for training, all this. You're not seeing the best of the players. I think the problem with too many games is that the risk is bigger now. There's more risk of a player colliding into you because there's an extra game where that could happen. There's more risk of you breaking something because there's an extra game where something like that could happen.
Same number, Marshall. The percentage of risk you're talking about is the same percentage of risk that's going to occur in every single game. It's no different, bro. It doesn't increase or decrease.
No, but but I'm not saying like, you know, you're more of a chance of getting an injury versus Boro than you are if you were playing against Real Madrid. I'm just saying that another 90 minutes where you put yourself at risk of getting injury, it's just like car insurance. Whereas like if you work from home and you don't go out, you barely use your car, you just go use it locally, your insurance is going to be low because you're not a big risk. But if you use your car for work, for example, like an Uber or a Lyft here in the United States, your car insurance is going to go up because you're more of a risk factor, because you're putting yourself more at risk of being in an accident. Speaking of Uber Eats, speaking of
Data Earn Nation, man. We got Data Earn Nation. Oh yeah, I know how to open this, brother. Do you want to see a little trick?
Ahmed, your houseboy gave you some food.
Jesus.
Yeah. Listen, don't call my brother my houseboy, bro. The way. Big up to English.
That's crazy, 'cause that's his brother. Okay. Well, what were you gonna show us?
We're
A
doing it for you.
little fun trick.
Big up, brother nation.
Big up, brother.
Oh yeah, I need to do
nation.
this. I forgot what to do it. Shit.
What's his
Where is
name?
my-
I know how to do that. I know what he's doing.
What is it? It's like this. Do I hit my palm, right? If I'm not mistaken, right?
You
hold
put it at the edge of the table. You put
Yes.
one part of it at the edge of the table, and you hit down on it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, thank you.
There you go. You gotta do it hard. You gotta do it with conviction.
Open it
All right.
open it with your phone.
This-
There we go.
There we go.
You got it? Did you get it? I feel like he was being timid with it. It's like, bro, it's not gonna hurt you, man. Like, oh, he's struggling, bro.
1 second.
Wow.
Hey, chill out. I need to. Easy, holy.
So
It's
so
going on.
over at the bridge, the bridge nation, they can't open bottles, yeah.
Apparently.
See, this is
You
why-
need a bottle
just
opener,
get this
man.
man a bottle opener, bro.
guys,
Next time I have a bottle, ladies and gents, I'll show you how to do it.
Give me a
this is
screen.
why Nation Ahmed has fails, man.
No. I opened it for him. I opened his one. I'm just gonna open mine. That's why. I was stuck.
Oh,
Chill.
sure.
Hilarious.
Nation,
But yeah,
Nation
so
High. Nation High.
I think going back to the conversation, like I think the biggest issue I have with it personally is that the gap afterwards, where the season ends, it's becoming less and less now. Like we're basically essentially with this schedule now, we're essentially asking our players or all these players that they're only allowed to have 3 weeks off when the season ends, and then you got to come back to practice or training and stuff, which I feel like we're starting
That's
to really
not
push
true.
that envelope. Yeah, it is. Because once the Club World Cup ends, there's only 3 weeks before the preseason starts in the Premier League.
Yes, but that's only for elite clubs.
Well, okay. I mean,
We're not elite.
but the same. Yeah, it's only for elite clubs, but it's still.
I think
not-
again, Marshall. The problem is, with the greatest level of respect for me.
Sure, of course.
Go back to the same issue.
Can I
where-
finish with what I was saying, Ahmed, or no?
Before you
I
go,
thought you were done.
my apologies. 'Cause I'm about
Before I
to
go, I was
literally-
speaking.
No, I'm about to
Go
finish.
ahead.
I'm
Let
about to
Ahmed
leave.
land and then
Because like the issue I'm having, Marshall, with your school of thought here is that this is not a player issue. It is a ownership issue. These guys need to be bringing in more players so that these guys can get rested too. Because if the managers are also got a problem with this, then it means
also true,
that they
yeah.
need to be speaking of the ownership to get more players. Because like that's what it is. You know what I mean? I feel like we're giving these guys too many excuses. Too many excuses going on here, bro. With the greatest level of respect.
Well, you're not wrong. Prime, what were you gonna say?
Wow, Ahmed spoke for a minute just to waffle. Wow. Anyway,
Shut up, Brian.
Go ahead.
Anyways, you're talking about like teams like going to the Club World Cup or going away for international tournament. But don't the clubs factor in for that? Like for example, the Euros and Copa America that happened last summer. For Chelsea anyway, Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Gallagher, those four went, and they all came back. Into our preseason, like I think a week or two after it started.
Yeah, this is a good point.
So clubs factor in that time. They're not going. That's Rodri when the season started. He didn't start the season at City. I think
Yeah.
the Arsenal game was his first start. I'm pretty sure. John Stones hasn't been playing every game so far this season because he went to the final of the Euro. Like clubs factor in for this, and also these players get paid big money. I don't. This whole complaining or your body being insured, like you get paid big money. You're multi-millionaires. I would love to play 60, 90-minute games in the span of 9 months if I'm getting paid 5 million a year. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I don't like to bring in the money in the situation. I don't like to bring in the money.
Marshall, big screen, please.
Too late. I don't like to bring in money in these circumstances because I feel like just because you get paid a lot to do something doesn't make it less inhumane in a sense. Not to say it's inhumane that they're playing sports, but if you were, I don't know. Like there's some jobs out there that like no matter how much you get paid to do it, like I don't feel like it's a job that someone should be doing. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but Marshall, being a
I know it is a very different context.
Footballer is not.
Fucking ads are cooked. Okay, no, man.
Listen, we're just gonna bypass the Armand midfield again. Just bypass.
But just to let you know, I actually opened it wrong surface, boys. It's the wrong surface.
So you lied the first time. You said I opened my brother's and you opened 2 more.
I opened them both.
It's fine. It's been clipped anyway.
No, it's not been clipped. It's not been clipped.
Armand won extra time against the ball.
No.
Go ahead.
Like you're saying that it's like one of. I don't think you can compare being the 1% of the 1%.
No, yeah, I get that. It's not the
wealth
best comparison.
To someone who is, like soldiers going out to war. I can't think of a better example. Soldiers going out to war and what they experience and go through. I like all the amount of money these players get paid, and the way they are taken care of by the club. I don't get the complaint. I'd play 60 games a season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I understand that. I don't know. There's definitely a lot more to discuss on this, and we're obviously going to see how this affects teams going forward because now we have the Club World Cup in the summer, and I do think, and I agree, I think the biggest solution to this, because it's not going to change. FIFA isn't going to be like, you know what? Player welfare, you guys are right. We're going to wind down the amount of games. No, they're going to go forward with this. They're going to continue on. They're going to dig their heels in. So I think now it's like what Ahmed said, what you said, Prime, and I think Chris mentioned it too. I think now we got to look at the clubs need to look at themselves and be like, listen, there's a lot of fixtures to play. We now have to either integrate more academy players into the team. We need to scout more. We need to recruit more because we have to start rotating players, and these players need to have all clubs. It's going to come to a point where all the clubs have to have an A club and a B club. It can't just be your A team.
But Chelsea already have this. Like I don't know if you've noticed.
Chelsea already do. I know.
I'm actually giving you an example of like you look at Chelsea. Chelsea have an A team and a B team.
Yeah.
Liverpool, I don't think necessarily have that. I would even argue Arsenal to an extent don't have a.
But that's Ahmed. That's why like I give like when the whole criticism about Chelsea have an overbloated squad and all this and that, like I was like, bro. I think to a certain extent, yes, we did have a little bit of overbloated because there were players that we genuinely were not going to use at all, right? But like when you dumbed it down, like we didn't get rid of all of them. There's some that are still in the club.
Tony Chilwell, that's here.
Chilwell, I don't think David Washington is still here. Omari Hutchinson, we don't know what's not Omari Hutchinson. I'm sorry, Omari Kellyman. We don't know what's going on with him.
But you know why we bought Omari, bro? We bought
him. And Washington is playing in our academy, so they don't count as our first squad.
He was part of our first team squad last season. And
but like season they're not.
But we were trying to find like a loan for him. We just didn't find a good one, so we
Yes, but
refused
he's
him.
playing in our academy now, so we found a solution. He's not part of our first team.
All right. Well, there's still Carney Chukwuemeka. We don't know what's going on with him. We don't know what's going on with Chilwell either. Like, we got to find a home for him. And there's other players that aren't getting playtime right now that you could argue like, hey, like there's still some players we got to move on. But at the end of the day, I mean, I do go back to the sentiment I was saying before. I think I didn't have very much criticism for the ownership when they were recruiting so much because I knew we were gonna have to rotate players. Like when we saw the amount of we had Jadon, Sancho, and Neto, and we were thinking like, where's Mudryk gonna play, and what's gonna happen with Carney and all this. And I was like, I'm not worried about it. They will find playtime. We have a lot of games to play. There will be playtime for these players. So,
what do you mean by that? Man? What do you mean by that? Playtime?
I mean, I don't know. But
hey,
to an extent, yeah. There's a big fixture schedule, and
I'm
these
not
players
worried
have
about
to. These
anyone
clubs
in
have
our
to. Yeah.
squad barring Chilwell. Everyone you mentioned, like Chukwuemeka and everyone, they're gonna get games at some point in the season. Chilwell's the only player I don't want to hear. But in terms of everyone else, that's why we have this squad.
I can't lie, man. I want Chilwell, man. I want Chilwell on the team. I back Chilwell.
Hey, but we don't like you, Ahmed.
Wow.
Beans over toast.
Hey, my bad.
You know,
Hey,
you're a fraud. You're a fraud, mate.
Marshall paid me to say it. My bad. So, anyways,
We move to the next topic.
You know what it is, Marshall, mate? When I catch you, mate, watch out. Let me come to New Jersey for you, mate.
New Jersey.
Did you guys hear what I thought I heard?
Yeah, you heard it, mate.
Because I heard, yo, when I see you, I'm going to clap you. And I was like,
I said when I see, listen. I said when I listen. Don't make me come to New Jersey because when I come there, I'm gonna cook you.
Bro. Hey,
You know what I mean?
Hey, yo. What do you mean by that?
What is happening?
Yeah, cook you up, man. That means I'm gonna deep fry you, beat the shit out of you. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, man?
Hey, yo.
Bro.
I'm coming
You
for
know
that ass.
Ahmed.
Pause.
You know Ahmed is high key zesty, so like you shouldn't have questioned it. Just move on.
Listen,
Yeah,
man. You know,
let's just move
you know
on,
what,
let's
man.
just
I
move
just
on.
want to say before I leave quickly. I've got two
Sure.
things I want to say before I leave.
Why do you interrupt me when I'm making my point, Ahmed?
Because I'm about to leave, Dory. After this, bro, you have the floor. This is your time to shine, Haji. Yeah, but like, listen, I want to just let the streets know. Listen, obviously, I was able to open it. Listen, I am a strong lad. Let's not get it twisted. I bench a lot. You know what I mean? I just want to let that know, that little cheeky wink, wink, wink. But secondly, of course, yeah, make sure you follow my boy Marshall, Casually FC. Probably, is there going to be a review for Barrow tomorrow?
Yes, we'll be there tomorrow night.
All right. I might be there. I might not be there. We'll find out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You gotta do, man.
No, I actually don't know. I'm being serious. That's why I'm saying that. But listen, make sure to come there. If I'm there, I'm going to be crushing on Marshall as usual, just in case, you know what I mean? And listen, come over to my show as well, if you'd like, as always. Have a nice one for me, and love and guidance.
Wait, hold on, Ahmed, before you leave. Guys, 47 minutes, 40 seconds. Ahmed Abdi couldn't open a bottle and hooked.
He's a Mud Prime.
Oh my goodness. All right. Big up Ahmed. If you guys want to, he is streaming over on The Bridge, his YouTube channel. He is gonna do news as well, I think. I'm
just doing my usual show on a Monday. It's
preview.
Op Watch.
Oh, Op Watch.
Which is,
all right, so
Op Watch is where I discuss all the other teams. And I'm going to be discussing Mudryk's comments, Maresca's comments on Mudryk. And where he's essentially violated him, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, fair enough. So, yeah, if you guys want to go watch him, go ahead and he will be streaming soon.
Peace.
So, big up Ahmed. But, yeah, let's continue on to the next topic. Ooh, let me change this real quick. Go ahead, Prime. I forgot we were trying to land a point.
We've done good squad building in terms of the size, because, again, it's still I think it's a 23 or 24 man squad, so it's still a normal size squad. But we have actual quality and strength in the depth. When I look at the other big teams trying to go far, like Liverpool, Arsenal, for example, I don't think they have the depth we have. They may have a better first 11 in terms of quality, but they don't have our depth. And I think that's where these teams are going to learn, and maybe other teams in Europe as well. After this Champions League and then the Club World Cup, they're going to learn that we need a bigger squad size, or we need quality depth in our squad size. So
yeah, it might
being ahead of the curve. No one's giving us credit, but you'll see.
Yeah, no, and I'm giving us credit because I think our recruiters and our scouts did a good job of, I guess, recruiting young, because that's where you get the more budget-friendly players, because we all know in this day and age, the market is so overinflated when it comes to pricing. Like, players that used to be around 40 million euros are now costing upwards of 80 million euros, and so on and so forth. Like, the prices have been so ridiculous, and when it comes to building squad depth, you're going to have to go for those younger players, the ones that you're going to have to do your scouting and your research and your stats, and the unproven ones, because those are going to be how you're going to build squad depth, and they're going to develop and grow. But Chris, are you going to say something?
I mean, you don't have to spend like crazy amount on everyone. Like, look at Jackson. He's our number one striker, 32 million. Like, that's dirt cheap. The most we spent on this transfer on a single player was like 60 million on Neto, and he's like our main guy signing this season. So, and we just pretty much spent like around 20 to 30 million on a lot of players, and either they'll be useful to the team or they'll be loaned out and sold for like maybe a little bit of profit here and there. But it's just a business really, and it's great what we've done because we got depth and we got a good business going anyway. So
I agree. And
the bulk of our money in terms of transfer and wages probably would have gone to Victor Osimhen, but we didn't sign him. And in this moment in time, I'm sure we'll speak about it later. Maybe it looks like we don't need him. So
and to follow up and to put a bow tie on what Prime is saying as well, I feel like nowadays when it comes to this fixture schedule and the money it costs to sign players, I think more teams are going to have to look at building I was going to say quantity over quality, but I don't want that to come off as a negative connotation, but it is going to have to start being decently good quantity of players versus just having a quality starting 11. If you get what I'm saying. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, so it's about quantity as opposed to it's about quality as opposed to quantity, yes.
Well, no, I feel like now it's going to be more geared towards quantity than it is quality. Because for other teams. Yeah, for other teams. Because I feel like we have a good balance of quantity and quality. Whereas other teams, like, just to say for a Man City, for example, or an Arsenal, their starting 11 is focused on quality and there's no quantity in the team. Yeah,
City don't normally look this lean in depth-wise, and they're just relying on youth players.
Yeah, but this is City have been doing this for quite a few years, though. By the way, City have had the smallest squad, one of the smallest squads in the league for like I think 3-4 years. People haven't spoken on that. This myth that they have this quantity-wise squad depth is a myth. It's just Pep rotates so well in the early parts of the season that everyone gets game time, and by the time we reach March, you just keep rolling. You're a machine, and that's what Maresca looks like he's doing. Everyone's getting games now, so by the time we reach March, we should be going headstrong in both the league for top 4 and in the Conference League to win it. There should be no drop off anywhere.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. And I agree. Let's continue on to this next topic. And I don't think there's really much of a topic here to discuss anyways, but let's just touch on this topic, which is ownership solidarity. People were reporting on this yesterday. Todd Bowley and Baghdad Iqbali together at the London Stadium today. What are you? Jesus Christ! I thought he was counting like push-ups or something. Like, what the hell? We will get to that topic. No, he's saying Reece. We will get to that topic very soon. We're very close.
I thought he was whispering Chris. I'm thinking that.
I wonder who's saying that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the ghost of Reece pass.
He's always push up. I thought I was saying Kristen with.
Yeah.
I was a little bit concerned.
Oh yeah, I was scared for a second. I was like, "What's going on? Probably you all right, dude?" So yeah, ownership solidarity. So Todd Bowley and Baghdad Debali together at the stadium. Matt Law reporting on this. Obviously, you had other people reporting on this as well. Like, oh, it looks like the ownership are showing solidarity. Listen, I said this on the Chelsea Hour show. I said it in the Casually Chelsea show after that, and I'm going to say this again. The whole ownership debacle, civil war, has been going on for multiple seasons. This isn't new. It didn't just happen this season. It's always going to happen. It was always going to happen. This is what happens when you have a consortium and you have too many cooks in the kitchen. This is why I never really wanted a consortium. My original, like when we were talking about ownership changes, my original pick was the Turkish gentleman that had a bunch of money. He was a Turkish billionaire. I forgot his name. Markatari, something like that. I can't remember. But he was my first choice because he had the money and he was just one person. Now I had to settle for Todd Bowley and his consortium. But at the end of the day, it's a consortium. They were never going to fully agree on everything. There's always going to have a difference of opinion. This is what happens when you have multiple cooks in the kitchen. I think this became a story over the international break because Chelsea was still not winning games like they were now. Like, I think that's a big part of this because now that we've won 2 games on the trot, now that we're looking good on the table, we're 5th place in the table. Now I don't hear so much talk about ownership. Now I don't hear so much about civil war and all this. Mind you, I guarantee you in a few months from now when we lose a game or we lose some momentum or something dramatic happens, I guarantee you more news on the consortium, more news on the ownership drop. I guarantee it. But, I mean, gentlemen, what do you think on this stuff?
That's just PR.
I think it is too.
That's just them two holding coffee together, like side by side, just to show the world we don't hate each other. And they don't actually hate each other, of course not. Like, no. I don't think it's anything deep anyway, to be honest. When like one's trying to buy out another, like that could always happen anyway. That looked like that was probably always going to be the case anyway. So, nah, I think that in all fairness, just showing the media who's just blown us like out, like just. Obviously, like trying to get Chelsea fans to fight each other, or whatever. Like, which sides go? Like, which side do you pick, or whatever. But yeah, like, I guess it's good what they did. I agree. I think they should have done this. Just show them like we don't actually hate each other. I guess.
Yeah, they can have differences and still work together. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, there will come a point where either one of them will buy each other out. That's just facts.
The way Egbali's staring into his eyes though, that's I just looked at it. Look at it.
I don't think he's even looking at him. I think he's looking past him.
They're in love, actually. I can see it. Look at how they're looking at each other.
Bruh.
All right, Chris. Prime, do you have anything to add to this? Okay, cool. We're good. We move. Like I said, this is a very touch and go topic. There wasn't really much to talk about. All right, let's go to the next topic, which is the Maresca In. Maresca In? Maresca In. Okay, listen. I said this in the beginning of the preseason. I said this when he was assigned. I'm going to give him 5 games. Now, I don't remember if I said 5 games in total or 5 games in the Premier League. But even if I did say 5 games in the Premier League, we're here now. We have done 5 games in the Premier League, and let me read all these tweets before I come to my verdict, right? So let's continue here. Let's say Maresca comments here. Enzo Maresca is asked, can Chelsea finish in top 4? This is a good squad, but in the last 2 years, we have finished 12th and 6th. We need progress. The only way to reach some important targets is to be focused game after game. Then he says here, I think we are a very good squad, but there are clubs like Man City and Arsenal that are ahead of us, no doubt. Hopefully, if we progress and keep improving, we can slowly be close to them. But I think it is quite clear that in this moment, Arsenal and Man City are ahead of the rest. Like I said, the reason why is one club is 9 years with the same manager. Pep joined Man City in 2016, and the other, Mikel Arteta at Arsenal, is 5 years. The rest of the clubs is a short time. The target after the last window is to try to do less things but more specific. This is the target for January and for the next summer. Hopefully, it can be like this, and that's in reference to pretty much transfers. Like we'll go over that part as well, but it doesn't look like we're going to be making as crazy transfers as we were in this past window. So we continue on. John Obi Mikel commenting here. Enzo Maresca is doing an absolutely fantastic job. The way we're playing, everything is just clicking. It's so amazing to watch the team right now. It's so refreshing. I just want to tune in and watch us play. And this is true. Enzo Maresca says Chelsea are intending to make more signings next year in order to bridge the gap to Man City and Arsenal. And then I'll go over this right now as well. The executive vice president of basketball operations at Minnesota Timberwolves, Sachin Gupta, is set to leave the NBA franchise to take up a role at Chelsea. So yeah, we'll come back to this, but Enzo Maresca, let's talk about it. I think after the 5 games that we've seen in the Premier League, I think it's safe to say that we now see what Enzo Maresca's style of play is. We now see a staunch difference between how Pochettino set us up versus how Enzo Maresca set us up. And what I asked for last season was I wanted a style of play. I want to see some progress. I want to see the best, like a manager that can get the best out of our team. And I really, really do believe that Enzo Maresca is doing that. Not only that, we're seeing that people wanted to belittle him because he came from Championship. And he wasn't going to, his lack of experience was going to fail him. He might not be able to compete with the best and this and that. If we're looking at this objectively, if we're looking at that Man City game, that first one, Maresca, I hate to say it this way, but to an extent, I feel like Maresca did coach a win. There was a game there that could be had. We could have won, but we weren't ready yet. Now, when we come back to Man City in the second half of the season, I do expect us to put up a much better fight and the game to be a lot closer than what it was. Because of the way we're moving, the way we're improving game after game, and we're looking better and better and more convincing. Despite what people may think about the Bournemouth game, despite what people want to say about the Servette loss away, regardless of all that, and Crystal Palace, regardless of all that, we have seen this team play a lot more consistently. We have seen this team create chances, and to a point where now I can finally sit and say, like, the players lost that match. Which last year, I always blamed it on Poch. Sometimes I blamed it on the players, but this season, I'm blaming it a lot less on the manager and more on the players for not being clinical, not finishing their chances, or making silly mistakes in the game. Defensively, specifically. We're talking about like Fofana and so on. So for me, I think it is very doable to get top 4. And I think this manager is taking us in the right direction. At this point last season, we were already discussing Pochettino out. I'm just letting you guys know. Which, at this point now, I think more and more people are buying into the project. I think we're seeing the fruits of the labor that the recruitment had. Whether you still are Bowley out and all that stuff, whatever. I always said, from the very beginning of this, from the very onset, and Prime, Chris, you guys can probably vouch for me on this. I want to see what happens in 3 years. This is a project. I want to see progress. I don't mind, and I said it in the first year, I don't mind not finishing in top 4. We finished a lot lower than I anticipated, but I wanted to see progress. Was Pochettino the answer? I don't think so, and I'm glad he got sacked. I don't want him as a manager. But he even made progress, and now we're seeing this team finally click, finally mesh. Like, you don't hear anyone saying like, oh, we need experienced players and all this and that anymore. You don't hear any of these comments anymore because now these players are starting to click, and I really, really do think that if Maresca continues like he's doing, we are heading in the right direction. We just need to bolster in certain positions. Some players might need to leave. We might need to replace those. But our team, pretty much, our skeleton, I think, minus the striker and maybe the goalkeeper, is done. And we just need the minor tweaks. Everyone that's going to be saying, like, what happened to the 4-window plan and stuff? I addressed this before, too. Do you honestly expect any team, Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, United, Liverpool, Do you really think they have X amount of window plan and then they're never going to recruit ever again? They're done? No. Chelsea are always going to recruit. Chelsea are always going to bring in transfers and exit out other players. I think the 4-year is for the major overhauls. After the four window, now going into this 5th window, whatever, now we're going to see tweaking of recruitment. We're going to see certain players come in, certain transfers. It's not going to be a big overhaul like we've had in the past few windows.
It was fun, but it's over.
It was fun, but it's over. I think now we're going to be a lot more calmer. And mind you, this guy here, Gupta, was hired to, I guess, kind of make sure the operations go smoothly. That's what I have been informed of. I don't know much about this guy. I don't know much about his role.
Well, he's
but
NBA, you said, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently he's going to be the one that's going to help us manage the budget, help us with communication between all, like get us all on the same page. It's kind of the lump sum of it all. But
Probably good at it.
That being said, everything that I said about the whole Chelsea thing and all this I discussed with Maresca, Chris, I think you were another one too that was not very much in favor of Maresca. You had your doubts,
Right,
which
but
I'm sure everyone did have their doubts. But
You're right.
what do you think now?
I mean, with Enzo Maresca, I was highly doubtful because I thought we should have went for the one De Zerbi. I thought he
Sure.
would have worked well in our midfield, like tactically, but because Enzo Maresca, he had a solid team in the championship. Yeah, he won it, but he almost lost at the end, but he still pulled through. I just wasn't too sure of him. In all fairness, I haven't really watched him, and that's why I hear he's got a good style of football, and he's actually brought that to Chelsea pretty fast. First 5 games for Chelsea, I think he's been near perfect, to be honest. Tactically, we set up well. Defensively, we're looking like solid now. Like last 2 games, even 3 games, by the way. Last 3 games, that Crystal Palace game, we was amazing in defense. We just happened to exceed a long shot, and attacking wise, we're getting goals. We're getting one of the most goals in the Premier League now. Like we're second, I think, with 11 goals. Like everyone in the pitch is getting goals. Like Jackson's getting goals. Cole Palmer's still getting goals. Nani Madueke's got goals. Neto, I think he's got assists or something. You know, like everybody's just getting goals in this team. So. Yeah, I even like how he can make early changes as well. Like, you know, with the Bournemouth game, it was looking rocky. It was looking pretty bad. He subbed on Sancho to change the game. And it did change the game because when Sancho came on, we looked better going forward. Sancho offered something different what Neto didn't. So, and result-wise, this is pretty much near perfect, like what we could ask for. Losing to City. And that wasn't, to me, on Enzo Maresca, to be honest. We had to use Enzo as a 10. I don't think we had a real 10 then. And we made mistakes from the back. Like Colwill and Fofana was actually, Fofana especially, was having quite a bad game that game, and we just made mistakes that game. So like you said about the City game, hopefully we don't do the mistakes against City. And Enzo Maresca can maybe get something against like a Man City. And we got Arsenal soon as well. Like I would love to give Arsenal a good game. I'd love Enzo just to make them drop points. I would love that.
100%.
Like, and obviously to give us points, not just because we made Arsenal drop points like the last 2 seasons where we're just shit and we just want to make them drop points. No, I actually want us to get top 3 or something like quite comfortable. And maybe I would love us to challenge, like a little challenge. You know, that'd be great.
I think so too.
That would shape us. That would shape this Chelsea team for the next season as well to go forward. So. I mean, props to Enzo Maresca. He like on the press conferences and like when journalists ask him questions, I like it. He's straight to the point. No bullshit. I don't think. Like he said not long ago, if they don't buy into my ideas, they don't play. Basically, like I do like that when a manager has a bit of a spine. So I can't say nothing negative about Enzo Maresca so far. He's been really good, and I can really back into this now. I think I can. I know he's not gonna be. I know there's gonna be rocky moments in the season. I fully expect it. I really do. There's gonna be some games where it's bad, but I'm not gonna be one of these fans. Yeah, at the start of the season, they was overreacting. 1 game, and then we won. Then we beat like Wolves 6-2 and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good season under Enzo Maresca. Maybe he is the answer we needed. Maybe he is
Sure.
like actually shaped Chelsea to winning trophies again. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I don't know how old he is. He's got to be in his 40s, surely.
I'll check for you.
He's
while you
got to be
finish it.
youngest manager. I feel like he's not that old yet. So maybe he's got that drive as well, like to prove something. He's a manager like that. He can win trophies. I just don't obviously.
44.
Yeah, he's early 40s. But yeah, I'm like I said, I'm really liking it to Enzo Maresca. His rotation's perfect as well. I'm loving the rotation. He's giving people like Mudryk and youngsters, Dasasi, Badishila will play Conference League. Like, you know, who give good rotation for that. He isn't scared to like drop it like his main players so he can just get a win against an easy team. He isn't scared to do that.
Yeah. Before we continue on to Prime, seeing what he wants to say, big up to Lurifix. Thank you so much for the 129 currency that you sent, because I don't know what currency that is. He says here, tactics play a big part in injuries, high press, and players do play way more with less rest. It's like mileage on a car. They move the more you drive. Mileage on a car, the more you drive. Why does Mount look cooked this early, for instance, or this early in his career? I think he meant to say. Yeah, I mean that is a big part of it too. The intensity of how you play. There was a moment where, not a moment, but there was a time, and you guys remember this. 3 seasons ago? It was during our Champions League season where Liverpool were running on a skeleton crew at one point because of just the intensity that is Jurgen Klopp's way of play. Like, he plays a very intense, high press, rock and roll football, and players were dropping like flies. And he was stubborn, didn't want to change his tactics. And yeah, I mean, you guys remember that. And there's also last season, Ange Postecoglou also plays really high intensity, high press, high velocity football. And last season, the Spurs, they went through a pretty much a big deficit of injuries. You could say the same thing for Brighton as well when the Zerbi was there. I mean, this does add to it. Yeah, there's a lot of injuries.
I look at a lot of clubs like Man United, Arsenal.
Oops.
If they they get a big injury, like, or any type of injury was just like important to their like main team, I think they're gonna struggle. With Chelsea, say for example, obviously I don't want to lose anyone, but if we lost like, I don't know, like just a winger like Neto or something, there's someone there to replace Neto. Or Nani Madueke. There's someone there to replace Nani Madueke. If we lose Cole Palmer, it might be a bit harder because Cole Palmer is like our main guy. But yeah, we do have a lot of good replacements for backups. So I think we're going to sort that injury crisis out.
I think so too, especially with the new medical team that we got. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that like I know, who everyone is in the medical team and all this and that. But like, at the same time, you got to give them a fair shot. You got to see what they're about, what they could do. And so far, I'm pretty impressed with the lack of injuries this early onset. Like, we've kept it pretty tame. The players have missed one game and they came back. Lavia's still good. We'll discuss more of the injuries as well. But Prime, did you want to add anything to this segment before I move on to the next one? All right, cool. Nope. Prime?
No, that's me.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll move on.
I'm still here.
Yeah, Prime will be back. He probably stepped away for a second. So let's go on to the next topic, which is talking about the attack. So Maresca, we didn't talk about this on stream, so I figured I'd bring it up. Maresca talked about his plans. And basically, you had your mic off, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did. I turned it off. My bad.
Maresca talked about basically how he sees his players, because the press asked him, don't you think you have too many attackers and all this and that? And I think he answered this very well. So Maresca clarifies his attackers. Left wing is Jadon, Sancho, Misha. Right wing, he has Nani and Pedro. As 10, we have Cole and Zhao. And as a 9, we have Nico and Christoph. These players are basically competing with each other for these positions. I think there is room for flexibility as to where these players play. But I mean, Prime, since you're back, what do you think about the competition here? What do you think about the way he answered this, and what do you think about like what you're seeing here in terms of like 2 players per each position in the attack? Prime, I think your mic is off again. Oh, are we back?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was sorry. I was muted. What was the question?
You turned to me.
Yeah, he pulled a Chris on that one. Okay. What do you think about the comments that Maresca said in terms of like the 2 players per each position in the attack? And do you think that these pairings, these competitions amongst themselves is good?
Yeah, that just shows that we have strength in depth, and even within those pairings, Sancho can play left or right wing, or even in the 10. Neto can play left or right. João can play 10 left, right, or up top as a false 9, and Cuckoo same thing. So even within that, we have players that can also play in different positions. So it's just just highlights the squad that we've actually built. We've built quality within the quantity. So yeah, I'm happy. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's an issue at all with our attack. I don't think it's bloated. I don't think any of that stuff. But yeah, so yeah, I'm glad that Maresca addressed this the way he did. That's the other thing too that we were just talking about as well, is that his mannerisms in the press room and how he's handling these questions is very straightforward. He doesn't mess about. He doesn't waffle. He just tells you how it is, and he moves on. He doesn't let it phase him. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't.
I am not a clown.
Doesn't need to say it. So we already know. But all right, cool. Let's go on to the next topic then, which is Sancho's role in the team. So I remember when we were linked to Jadon Sancho, the criticism, which was, why are we getting him? We don't need him. We already have enough depth and all that stuff. And now that we just discussed the attacking roles for every player, we're seeing more and more why Jadon Sancho was recruited and what he can bring to the table. And I'm actually really glad that we did, and I was actually wrong about not needing Sancho. I think it was a good recruitment, and it was good that we did need someone in this kind of position, especially if we're going to keep Cole Palmer in that number 10 role. But we start off with the first tweet here, which is Joe Cole singing his praises. He was a Chelsea supporter as a child. He used to come and watch at Stamford Bridge. So now that he's back home in Southwest London, you're hoping that this will factor in for him, because he needs to settle in England. Against Bournemouth, there were some touches on the ball, and he just showed his class. So I'm hoping he can continue that and kick on as a Chelsea player this season. Jadon Sancho has impressed Enzo Maresca with his attitude, as he has given him a clean slate to get back to his best in the Premier League, which, to be honest, I think that's a very healthy way to go about this, and it's very fair, instead of leaning on, oh, I heard you were like this at Man United and so on. So
you can't really go off another man's opinion on a player.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to see for yourself.
Exactly. And I respect that from Enzo.
He's working hard for him anyway. That's why he got that early sub.
Exactly. So another one here from Ben Jacob. Maresca has been impressed by Sancho's attitude, who state that he has already made a real impression at Cobham, and including arriving at training earlier than scheduled in his first week and taking his time to introduce himself to the training ground staff. Sources say that Chelsea believe Jadon Sancho and Nani Madueke playing on their flank are the perfect profiles for Maresca, and their inclusion allows Cole Palmer to play as an advanced number 8 position in his favorite position in the center of the park, according to Ben Jacobs. But yeah, I mean, this I think unlocks Jadon Sancho now being in the team. I think unlocks a lot of tools for Maresca, and it helps improve the players around the team. I'll be honest with you. I think it's gonna make Cucurella look better. I think it's gonna make Cole Palmer look better. I think it's gonna bring out the best out of a lot of the competition that we have going on, like Misha and so on and so forth. But go ahead, Chris. Your thoughts on Jadon Sancho so far, from what you've seen in these comments?
I thought, like, obviously he's only had like a game and a half. The first game I thought he looked really good link up wise. he's already had 2 assists already in the season. Like the first one, he gave it to Nkuku is a great pass to Nkuku. And Nkuku obviously had to do a lot to it, but they also say like with the second assist as well, he did do a lot. I thought he still did a lot of it because I actually
Yeah, it was part of the build-up play. He had to find the pass anyway.
Fairness, it was a quick free kick, and he just through balled not Sancho. He can't through ball himself. He through balled Jackson, and Jackson. Just, all they had to do was Jackson had to just run a straight line, and it's a great finish, of course. He megged the keeper, but yeah, like I think he's had a great start to the season. He looked a bit gassed in the game he started. Obviously, the last game he played.
He's still gaining fitness.
Yeah, of course. I'm not like taking anything away from him. Like he just looked a bit gassed out, but that's the only thing I'm a little bit not even concerned. Sorry, just that's the only thing I saw about him. Like maybe like he just needs a bit more time. But yeah, like ability wise, passing, link up, playing. He hasn't done anything wrong yet. He really hasn't, in my eyes. And like I said at the start, I'm not really his biggest fan when he came, but for 20 million, I'm willing to see what he can do. I really am. Like 20 million, we paid 20 million for like Washington for basically, so it don't matter to me. We paid 20 million for Sancho. It's worth a crack, and he's good for depth. He's took over Mudryk. I'm not surprised because Mudryk is he's Mudryk. So yeah, like. Him, it's gonna be him and not Neto. Who's on the left with him then? Him and who? Because he said Neto's on the right.
Him and Misha.
Oh, it is Misha. Okay, so he's gonna be basically the main left guy. So he's got a good position in himself. Like he can get a lot of minutes in because Mishi is not gonna overtake him in the Premier League. I mean, in all fairness, we're yet to see Neto on the right. We haven't seen him. Neto's only been playing on the left so far. Maybe when he's fully fit, we might see Neto more on the right and obviously Cole Palmer in the middle. So yeah, like I'm impressed with it. I always say I don't want to gas him, but I want to give like 10 games with him and see what he does and see how he gels in this team. I'm not going to like fully judge him still. Like I always give players 2 seasons at least. I say first season, if you've not had the great season, I give you another season to see if you can do anything. If not, then get out of the club. So yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah,
I'm good.
Prime, did you want to add anything to the Jadon Sancho comments?
Yeah. Yeah, he's impressed me. But regardless of what happens with him, for 20-25 million, there's no risk either way. But the thing is, he's actually a Chelsea fan. He actually wants to play for this club, so that will make him even more determined. That's what that was part of why I was such an advocate for Victor Osimhen, because not just of his quality and me rating him as a player, he's actually a Chelsea fan. He actually wanted to play for the club. Signing Caicedo, it's bonus him actually being a Chelsea fan. I want players who act like people. Chelsea fans, proper Chelsea, they love our academy players because they think they're one of us. But you don't have to come from our academy to be a Chelsea fan. You can, whether you grew up in England or in South America in Caicedo's case, or in Nigeria, like Victor Osimhen, if you support Chelsea and you're of a quality level, I do want you playing for my club because you'll actually help fight for us on the pitch when things are going down. So let's see how it goes with Sancho. He started off well so far.
Yeah, I agree. I know people don't like to pay attention to that too much or like to ignore it, but I do feel it does help being a fan of the club because then you have the club's best interest. You're not going to necessarily down tools like we've seen other players do in the past, or you're less likely to. It helps, and having that passion, the fans, you get the fans, you see it from a fan's perspective as well. I think it helps connect with the fans, which we've seen players that don't care about Chelsea, like a Raheem Sterling or who else? I guess Pulisic to an extent too. Like they just. There's no connection there, and it doesn't help when this season, for example, our home crowd, like they we've been very critical about the home crowd, still cheering on for Conor Gallagher. Even when Conor Gallagher left, we remember how many fans Conor Gallagher left. Even when Mason Mount was having that bad season, we saw how many people still loved Mason Mount, because Mason Mount did the, although he wasn't a Chelsea fan, he did all the work and the PR to connect with fans to an extent and bond with them. And that can help you out so much in the long run. I know right now there's a lot of heavy criticism on Nicholas Jackson, for example. I think Nicholas, once he gets the consistency in him and once he actually, starts connecting with the fan base more and more, the fan base starts believing him more and more. Once you have the fan base behind you, dude, I think the sky's the limit. I think it helps so much, and I think it's going to help players like Nicholas Jackson and so on and so forth. And I think it, like I said, being a fan of the club, it helps you connect with the fans, and I think that's a big overlooked thing. That being said, speaking of connecting with the fans and so on and so forth, ladies and gents, before we continue on to the next part of the show, be sure to smash the like button if you haven't done so already. It helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. If you're new here, also subscribe to the channel because it helps us grow as a community as well. And I do like seeing new faces in the chat, new names in the chat, and people engaging in the conversation as well. So let's get to the meat and potatoes that Prime was referring to earlier. And sorry, Chris, but I got to hear your perspective on this, even though I know it, but we need to discuss this. So, unfortunately, and I hate to be discussing this, there's been a setback with Reece's James rehabilitation, and I'll be honest with you.
You shameless bastard.
It is not looking very good. So, Reece James remains injured with no sign of imminent return, according to Nazar Cancella. We continue on, and Reece James has suffered a delay to his long-anticipated return for Chelsea. The defender's latest hamstring injury has not healed as well as expected. More on Reece James. Insiders at Chelsea insist there has been no setback or fresh or new injury to the affected muscle, simply that the area has not recovered as quickly as they would like. They are also adamant James will not be rushed back, which I'm okay with that. Enzo Maresca on Reece James. Waiting until he's fit. It's a bit delayed. The most important thing is for him is that he is back when they are 100% fit. Reece is still out, according to Bobby Vincent.
By approach.
Enzo Maresca also said on Reece James' timescale, we do not have an idea at the moment in terms of injuries is in the past. We always hope we can find solutions. In this case, it has been very unlucky because we planned to change him after 65 minutes and he got injured at 62 and 63 minutes. And he's referring to the Inter Milan game in preseason. That's where the injury occurred.
Yeah.
Chelsea are considering making a move for a right back in January with growing concerns over Reece James' fitness, according to Graham Bailey. And you know what? I do not blame Chelsea for needing to do this.
I don't mind that either, by the way. Them buying another right back. That's understandable.
I got to say, though, Chris.
Yeah.
If Reece... Because I'm still not on the sell Reece James boat. Because, like I said, as long as he plays 75% of the games this season, I'm okay. And we're not there, but we're starting to get close to
All say 75%.
All competitions.
Right. Okay.
There's still a lot of games to miss, but when you think about it,
he's not doing that.
But when you think about it, he's missed 5 Premier League games, 2 Conference League games. Yeah. As well as he's gonna miss. We wouldn't need him, but he probably would play.
I know what
but also he did miss. He is gonna miss this Carabao Cup game. Yeah. So, I mean, listen, it's starting to get concerning because it's the same injury. It's the hamstring, and it's very rare.
But it's been very delayed.
I understand, and. It's not, and you can admit this, it's not very often where something like this happens where the player is good to go fitness-wise, and then they get hurt for the same thing, and then the doctors come out and say, yeah, it didn't heal like we expected. So it's starting to make me think he's...
I'm a little bit worried about it. I am worried about it, but like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I am worried about Reece James, and I really feel for Reece James because no player. I don't wish us on any player. Like it's happened to players before, like Jack Wilshere, Sturridge. Like their legs, like they just couldn't hack it. Like it just hamstrings or whatever it will be.
Even Michael Owen, right? Michael Owen had the same issue.
Yeah, he did have issues like that as well. I mean, it just happens in football, and it's really like it's just sad because it's really annoying as well because we know how good Reece James is, and these injuries really hold Reece James back. And I obviously want him to see him play, but also where you like talked about Chelsea not rushing him. I actually appreciate that because I'm pretty sure last season with the old medical, the old manager, whatever, we would have rushed him in. I reckon he would have been on the bench and he would have put minutes on, and it might have made it worse. It probably would have, in fact, because the last 2 years has been really bad. So, my chair's squeaking. That's the first. I'm not sure if you heard it, but I heard it.
No, I didn't. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like I do like that approach, and you know me, I'm not gonna be saying sell this guy because I know how good Reece James is when he's fit, and I know you said if he's fit, of course, yeah, but like I want to like try still back Reece James, and I don't think there's anything still wrong in that, like trying to back it, and hopefully he can somehow pull through it. I'm never gonna expect Reece James to go full season fit. No, I'm never going to expect it. I'm really
that's a
not.
really high bar. Not many players can do that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm talking about, like, I'm hoping what you can do in, for example, in the Premier League, you can play at least half the season because we did get Gusto, and Gusto is a fantastic right back, and I'm glad we got another good right back. Finding 2 right backs like that, it's amazing work. But I don't want like surely... You know, there's no Ahmed here to, I know there's Prime here, like, it's been shameless, but I don't want to argue, like, saying Sal Reece James and stuff like that. I just don't, because he's a great player and I don't want to get rid of it. Unless you can get a good fee for it. And if the club sells him, and say if he misses most of the season this season, I won't even, like, really moan about it. I'm just, like, moan at the board and everything. I won't blame him in that way if he misses most of the season. I understand it.
You say if he misses most of the season, you're not going to blame him, and that you
don't. No, I'm not going to be like, I'm probably out and like.
Okay,
go to the...
but like, but like, if they do sell him, if they do sell him, you get it.
Yeah, I get it. It's gonna be sad to me.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be like Johnny and like, oh, these owners are ruining the club and shit like that because he's gonna do that.
I mean, he's gonna do that, but regardless.
Like, I understand.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, if Reece James does get sold, expect Minerals FC to go haywire.
I might cry like Johnny, man, or Rory.
But let me ask you this: you said earlier, if we get a good price for him, you're okay with it to an extent. What is that price?
Say for example, it has to be around 50 million. If the club wants,
just 50.
If he gets injured most of the season and the club wants him, like if club really, I don't see Real Madrid wanting him.
I think that's fair.
People think, and there's another thing as well. People might think Real Madrid might want him. I don't know if they want him if he gets injured.
I don't think so anymore.
Like who's going?
Trent is being rumored.
Yeah, I'm just thinking who's going to want a very injury-prone player. We just might have to back it sometimes and be supportive, and hopefully like he can somehow survive. I really feel bad because this really feels like Jack Wilshere now to me. The way he's getting played, the injuries is like every season now because the last 2 seasons has been very miserable for him and us, obviously, because we ain't seen Reece James play. So it's honestly, it's bad. But I mean, what can we realistically do still? All I can do is just obviously pray and try supportive, and hopefully he just comes back strong. I'm really just doing that. I can't do more. I can't do more than that.
I think, another thing I'm going to say to you, Chris, before we move on to Prime and what he thinks on this, is you do realize, though, if we do get another right back, it's very likely we're going to move on from Reece James.
I don't know. It depends what right back is. Say if it's like a Frimpong, then it looks like that way, right? If it's a top right back. But I'm just saying, if it's some right back we just found randomly, like not like Gusto, but like
a Malo Gusto, because Malo Gusto we did kind of find randomly.
He turned out to be a really good gem. 20 million is just fantastic work. I'm just saying, if we're not spending big on another right back, I wouldn't expect it like we're trying to move on from still. It's just have backup to Gusto. That's what it'd be. That's what I think it's realistically gonna be, because Gusto is our number 1 right back right now because obviously he can stay fit for most parts. He is injured now, but like he's got to get back fit and hopefully stay fit for more of the season now. But yeah, I don't mind us actually getting a right back in January. Like maybe it might be a loan as well. I don't know what that really means exactly. But yeah, like he is training, right? Like this is a recent photo still. Like this is
I think so.
He's just not doing.
This
like,
might be
high
from
intensity
preseason, to be honest.
Is it?
It might be.
It looks like it looks like at our ground. Like to be honest, like well,
I'll say this. If we do loan a right back, then I think that's a sign that the ownership still believe that Reece can recover and play a big part in the team. Which again, like we have a new medical team, right? I want to see Reece James specifically is that player. I want to see how he reacts to this new medical team. And because this is a setback from surgery he had last year, doctors that we had last year, medical team that we had last year, who knows? Now with the new medical team, let's see he recovers 100%. Let's see what happens, because maybe he stays fit for most part of the rest of the season, or he gets an injury like one or two games he's out for, like a Gusto injury. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh, he kind of pulled a muscle here, he's just gonna recover from that, and so on and so forth. But fine, obviously
he pulled the same injury, hamstring as well, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, but I think Reece was like a whole hamstring.
Oh no, Reece hamstring still was a whole surgery thing, like what happened to him.
Mm-hmm. But Prime, I mean, you heard Chris, I'm sure. Where do you stand on this as well?
Listen, this waffling for 15 minutes from Chris and Marshall, man.
Okay.
Oh. Anyways, Reece.
Fucking minerals, bruv.
You just want to just crash it. Just do it.
Chris. I didn't interrupt Marshall, did I interrupt Chris? I interrupted him.
No. I know.
I didn't interrupt you. Why are you speaking? Oh, I didn't interrupt you with your squeaky chair. Don't interrupt.
Okay.
Anyways. Reece James. I think people are looking into this a bit too much. I'll be so real. I said this back when he got his injury. Just wait until he actually comes back and he plays to see how he is. In terms of us potentially getting a new right back, I mean, it would have to be the profile that actually suits Maresca's system. I don't think Gusto fully suits the system because he can't really play in the back three. And I think he's better in midfield, to be fair, but he's not as good in midfield as Cucurella is. Chris mentioned Frimpong. Frimpong wouldn't suit Maresca's system either because he can't play in the back three and he also can't play in midfield. Yeah. I think there's a certain profiles that would suit what Maresca wants to do. I think Reece, again, this is like, I haven't crashed on Reece this preseason or this season either because I haven't, like, I've been saying this injury is not really that deep to me. Wait until he comes back first. Wait until he starts playing games. If he starts playing and he doesn't look like a player that he was, then yes, get rid. But I still think this surgery will work. You know, I think it will be fine. But people just have to be okay with the fact that he may not be playing all the time because we won't need him to, particularly for the next year or two. He might not be. Maresca won't throw him in because Maresca is a smart man. He knows about load management. That's why, like, if we had Poch, Reece would have played by now, and then he would have been injured for the rest of the season. The same with Lavia. The reason why Lavia didn't play yesterday or against Bournemouth, because we don't need Lavia and Reece James to beat West Ham or to beat Bournemouth or to beat Palace. It's okay to take them out. I expect Reece though to be back by I think after the next international break is when we play like Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle.
Yeah, we have a really hard run of fixtures.
I expect him to be fully fit for that run. Mm-hmm. And when he's back in that run and he performs as well, all this talk about selling Reece James, people won't talk about anymore. So you see how I can be balanced and objective about it. I want to give him this season and see how he actually does. However, if he gets another major injury, then yes, he has to go. But he can only go if our solution is a fullback that suits Maresca's system. There's no point getting someone who doesn't fit. Someone mentioned Jules Koundé. Maybe, but I think he's a little bit washed right now. So that's just what it is. But yeah, with Reece James, listen, guys, he's your captain. You guys backed him for 2 years when I was on his neck. Now when he needs you the most, I'm the one defending him. It's weird, It's weird. I have Marshall. I said this to RSM yesterday. I have so much Reece slander video saved that I want to post that I haven't been because I don't think the injury is that serious. Guys, there's so much I want to use, but I haven't because I have morals and integrity, unlike Chris.
Wait, what?
You heard me.
Wait, no. Wait, unlike Chris, what?
Huh?
You heard me.
No, I actually didn't.
Okay,
Not
play back
proper.
the stream. Play back the stream.
I'm not going to VAR for this.
Okay, good. Hey,
No
hey,
VAR check for this one.
listen, I got the ball, ref. I got the ball. So, no, but yeah, it is what it is. I don't like. What do you think, Marsha? Do you think that we should? Are you willing to wait for him to come back first and play a few games
Oh, yeah.
and see what, or give him the
Listen,
season to recover? Because again, with the injuries and surgery he's just had, if he comes back and he still looks off the pace, he may need a year or a few months, like what Fofana has
But
happened.
that's the thing. That's the thing, right? Like I said, my I feel like my bar is really low, Chris. Like I feel like my bar and Prime is really low for Reece right now.
You're
'Cause I
very-
really,
you're
like,
very patient,
I-
would say. You're patient.
I really like Reece as a player. Like I think he is at his best. I hold to this, and you can clip me. I don't care. I think when Reece James is fully fit and on form, he is the best right back in the world, hands
I
down,
agree.
without a question. He is better than anyone right back in any team in the world. I do not care. He is better than a Calafiori. He is better, who doesn't even play right back. But regardless, we're talking fullbacks in general now. Beyond it, honestly, let me walk it back. I think when fit and in form, Reece James is the best fullback in the world.
I agree.
I genuinely think that this man is an amazing player. He is world class when he is in fit, and it's just like he's genuinely like the one. I don't think it's a wild take, bro. He is genuinely the one player in our team that I can easily call world class. The thing is, and that's why, yeah, he's better than Carvajal. Are you kidding me? He is so much better than Carvajal. Carvajal cannot do.
Carval's good, but like
Carvajal. So it took
I rate
Carvajal
him.
until
Carvajal.
this last season to be relevant. Prior to the season before this last one, where he won the Champions League, that's just my opinion. He won the Champions League this last season and the season before that and prior to that, bro. No one was talking about Carvajal. Carvajal got put into a spliff the one time that we played him.
I would
in
say
the
no one talked
Champions
about him
League.
like a good 10 years ago.
I will
And
hear
plus,
that.
Carvajal can't give you what Reece James can give you in the attack.
I rate Carvajal. I think Carvajal's been one of the best fullbacks, right backs in the world the last maybe almost 10 years. So I will hear that. But again, let's look at the level of what Reece is. Reece, when he's playing and in full throw, is in comparison to one of the best right backs in the world the last 10 years.
100%.
That's the
100%.
point that we're making. There's a reason why Real Madrid actually want Reece. Like,
Yeah.
again, as much as I crash it on him and I make jokes and stuff, like I'm not stupid. If there's a chance we can actually keep that guy fit, I'll be keeping him. He is Chelsea's best player. It's not Cole Palmer. It's not
Hell
Nkunku.
no.
It's not Caicedo.
Hell no.
He is our best player by a major mile. He's our best player.
Alfonso Davies cannot give
He
you
can't
anywhere
defend.
near
Can't
the
defend.
defensive ability that a Reece James, when fit, can give you. Not at all. Not at all. Reece James put Vinicius in his pocket. Reece James put Leao in his pocket. Reece James put Raheem Sterling at Man City in his pocket. Reece James have put some of the best players in the game in his pocket. he is so much better than Alphonso Davies.
I'm trying to think.
That's why I'm saying, and I hate to say the caveat, when fully fit, when on form. Like, I hate to say it. I wish I could just say it flat out, but I can't because the guy hasn't been fit for 2 seasons.
That's the problem.
And that is a problem. Yeah.
Because he's been out for so long.
People forget.
Yeah, and it's tough to keep him in these conversations. That's another part of the frustration I have about it. That like so much being compared to Ben White and Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Dalot.
God, that's such a shame.
Part of the frustration. The guy is
it's ridiculous.
Bar one. The same way people treat Van Dijk or Saliba or Rudiger as tier 1. Reece is tier 1. There's no one in his bracket, right or left back. There's no one in his bracket.
It sucks because it's been 2 seasons since people have seen the best of Reece James. It really sucks. It's been not even 3 seasons almost since people have seen the best of Reece James. He's
last
been
year,
out
right? When Doku joined to City, his first 2-3 months, Doku was on fire. People were saying how great Doku was. Reece wasn't 100%, and he pocketed Doku to a point where Doku got hooked after 60 minutes. That was when Doku got exposed. People forget that. Like
100%. And you know, going back to the original question, right? This is why I'm patient with him, and this is why I'm going to wait to assess it this season, because I know he's going to play this season. He is going to play this season, and he's going to have an impact on the team. But it's very much like an N'Golo Kante situation. How much can you give me in a season? Because if you can't give me enough, I'm sorry. I can't rely on you. We have to build differently. We have to get someone else, because very much like, and I gave praise to the ownership for this, and I said this in yesterday's review. Not yesterday, 2 days ago, the review, right, Chris? I said, I like that we are no longer Cole Palmer FC. And if you remember, Chris, and you can say this, under Tuchel, when we had Romelu still, when Reece James was on fire before he got that massive injury that made him unavailable for a large portion of that season, we were having discussions saying that we were over-reliant on Reece James to win us games.
Yeah.
At one point, you could make the argument.
A few times,
exactly. At one point, you can make the argument. At one point, you can make the argument that we were Reece James FC. I want to be able to have a team where it can be, at any minute, it can be Cole Palmer that carries you. It can be Jadon Sancho that carries you. It can be, I'll put Nicholas Jackson in this conversation, Nicholas Jackson that carries you. Or it could be Reece James. But in order for that to happen, I need these players to be fit. I need Reece James to be available. I don't want to have a team like we had in previous years where it's Eden Hazard by himself and then surrounded by garbage. I want to have multiple Eden Hazards on that pitch. Not to say that they're all Eden Hazards, but
Eden
just
Hazard
starlight players. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just for me, I'm okay with him being injured. That's fine. Recover. Be fit. However, if this is a reoccurring thing that can't be fixed, he's going to be one of those unique players that just has a chronic injury that very much like Wilson from Calvin Wilson. He's a fantastic player. He's a fantastic player, but guess what? He was just always injured.
But that's why, like, when he got that knock and it was announced, I didn't look into it. I didn't think of it as that deep. Because knowing what Maresca's like, he's gonna want to protect. If that was Poch, Reece would have played, and then he would have actually got injured. But at least for Maresca, he's taken him out because we don't need to waste him. I agree with that last comment. If Reece plays minimal games this season, and he's being allowed to actually recover properly, that's fine. I'd rather take a year of not seeing Reece James as much, so that he's can recover fully, and then we have him for the next 8 years or whatever it is, you know. So it's fine this season. That's fine. We're not playing in the Champions League. We don't need him for a Champions League quarterfinal against Real Madrid. There's no big games barring City that we'll need him for. So it's fine.
But that and Prime, that goes back to what you asked me, right? The bar for me is low for Reece James. If he comes back, I don't even care if he doesn't play well. I just want him to be fit because I understand these things take time. We had Wesley Fofana, who was out for 2 seasons straight pretty much, and now he's coming back, and he still has shaky moments, but we see moments where we're like, wow, I forgot that's Wesley Fofana. And I think that's going to happen with a lot of people when Reece is fit this season, where he's going to have good moments where it's like, wow, I forgot that's Reece. But there might be some bad moments as well because he's just getting back into the game. He's been out of the game for a while. So,
which is fine because we won't need it, because we develop how we're supposed to as a team, and in 2 years we're title challengers and we're challenging in the Champions League. That's when we need Reece James. When Champions League semi-final and we have to play Real Madrid and we need him on the to mark Vinny on the left wing, those are the moments we need him. So it's cool. I'm like, again, I haven't there's a lot of jokes I could have made, but like I haven't overreacted because I can see what Maresca is trying to do, and that's why I say to a lot of fans, take your emotion out of things and just look at what they are trying to do as a club. What the manager is trying to do, what we're trying to build. Just be honest. Yeah. So
you hear that, Chris? We're all patient.
What did Prime say?
Never mind.
I'm joking.
You know what?
Yeah,
just for that comment, Chris.
Yeah, there we go. I
I'm
mean, you did that picture. I owed you one.
I'm gonna post that comment. I'm gonna post that comment on Reece. I have a video.
What?
Oh man.
No.
Brazilian who's on loan to Strasbourg, though Chelsea signed one right back from Brazilian league who's on loan to Strasbourg. Huh? I don't think we did. It was just the American, and he was a left back, I think.
No, Pedro Lima. Pedro Lima
went to Wolves.
Yeah, we didn't sign him.
Yeah, he got hijacked from us. But yeah, he was the one that I think he's referring to. Maybe Caleb Wiley is a right back, but I don't know. I'd have to look into it.
No, Caleb Wiley's a left back, but he's a different case. Strasbourg were supposed to sign Caleb Wiley, but for whatever reason, they didn't have enough money. So we had to sign him, and that's why he's on loan there. He's not a Chelsea player, technically.
Yeah, we didn't sign a right back. We signed a left back, I think, and his name is Caleb Wiley. We didn't sign a Brazilian right back at all. Pedro Lima is the one you're referring to, and he got hijacked in the summer by Wolves.
Also, we have enough cover. Fofana can play right back. Caicedo's shown he can play out.
I mean, it's not ideal though, Prime. You know that.
No, but for a year until he recovers, it is ideal.
Oh, for a backup to Gusto.
Yeah, I'd rather have that than waste money on another. Because my worry is, as much as I say, get rid of Reece if he doesn't recover, I know City will buy him from us, and then he will recover within a year. I know that's gonna happen. So,
and yeah, time will tell. Let's see what happens to Reece. I am going to be keeping a close eye on it because I think, like me, like multiple Chelsea fans, I am also concerned with Reece. I do rate him really highly. As you guys can tell, I think he's the best fullback in the world when fully fit and on form. And yeah, we're just going to have to see what happens with his injury, and hopefully it's the last time we talk about a hamstring injury from Reece James. But let's see how he recovers. Let's see what it's like with the new medical team, and let's see at the end of the season how we're going to feel about Reece James. Did he play enough to impact the team, or did he stay injured enough to impact the team negatively? So speaking of injuries, the next topic I wanted to go to was a bit of an injury update. And we spoke on this a little bit with Wesley Fofana. Maybe some bad news here. So, according to Don DeRusso, Wesley Fofana's left knee strapped up and walking with a limp. A little bit of cause for concern. You never know. Maybe, I don't think Enzo Maresca played him with an injury. I think he just happened to get a knock while he was playing right back against West Ham. Jesus Christ, I almost forgot what team he played against. So that's something to look into and be concerned about. I don't think Maresca addressed anything like this in the press conference, so we don't know if he's actually out injured or this is like, well, we got to be careful with Wesley now. We continue on. Malo Gusto and Romeo Lavia continue to rehabilitation, another modified training session as they continue with their recovery from injury. And then Enzo Maresca in the press conference saying Malo Gusto is available for tomorrow and Romeo is not available for tomorrow, but hopefully he can be for the Brighton game. So Lavia looking like he's very close to being fully fit and ready to go to start getting match sharpness again. Obviously good that we have Malo Gusto back. Wesley Fofana a little bit concerning. And Lavia probably back by Brighton, but he's coming back very soon. Hopefully he doesn't go on international break, because if he does come back with Brighton, he's going to have 3 games to play before we go into international break again. But guys, you have any thoughts on the injury updates?
Hold that, Chris.
Wait, why am I holding that? I'm a bit confused. Wait, what?
No, we have nothing to comment on the injuries.
No, like obviously with the Gusto one, he's not going to be back for next game, but like it's obviously good to see, because Fofana, we can't keep playing him at right back, because like you said, the knee, with the knee thing, he's still fit for the next game, right, Fofana?
I don't think he's gonna play Boro, but I haven't heard Maresca say anything that he's out.
I can't have the Sassy at right back against Bayern. We're getting cooked.
For right back. Okay, I was gonna say.
No, we can't. Yeah, like that's why I want to. I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't want to see Disasi, but if Fofana's injured and Gusto's not fit, obviously he's on the bench, right, Gusto? So yeah, we can bring him on. Hopefully around halftime, not halftime, but 60-ish minutes for Fofana. And give him some minutes, but because I don't want to play Fofana like 90 minutes in that Brighton game, because I don't know how serious his knee is. Like maybe it's flaring up, or it's not like 100%, because he's gone through a big injury last year, so you know. But yeah, Lavia, he's been gone for a good while as well. Like it's good we got Caicedo and Enzo, because them two are obviously unreal in that midfield, and we've had depth, so. It's lucky we got them too, but it's going to be nice to have Lavia back anyway for the midfield mix, because he was, before his injury, he was looking our best midfield by a bit, because he was that rock we needed. So yeah, good to see Lavia coming back. Hopefully he doesn't pick up any injuries anytime soon again. He is looking, since joining Chelsea, he's looking a bit shaky with the injuries.
I don't think he's injury prone either, which is the part that's
it's
scaring
just
me.
when he's just joined, like last season, he played 37 minutes last season. Under Poch, but that could be
What were you
just
gonna say, Prime? No, Prime. You were gonna say something? Okay, give me a minute.
Something big happened.
Check the group chat.
I'm gonna check the group chat right now. Checking. Oh Jesus Christ! Oh yeah, I got that in a little bit. Yeah, I already have it in the show. So yeah, we'll discuss that in a bit. But yeah, so that's the injury update. Looking like Gusto's coming back for tomorrow's game, or not tomorrow's game. I don't think he's going to play tomorrow's game.
CFC
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him either.
I'd rather that over Disasi. Disasi's dead at right back, and I don't even want to see him at centre back. I'd rather Tolson and all that. I don't even want to see Disasi like get minutes in the Conference League and Barrow tomorrow. Well, actually, yeah, tomorrow Disasi can definitely play.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If Disasi can't play against Barrow, he should.
Yeah, I think I
predicted
that he would. Give him a minute
against these teams and see what he can do. See if he can look good. I know it's only Barrow, but
yeah, I mean, give him some.
That's what rotation's for, man.
Exactly. But all right. That being said, let's go on to the next topic I have for you guys, which is a little bit of controversy from the Willian, Estevao Willian stuff. Apparently, he's making demands. Very much Levi Colwill-esque in behavior, but well, actually, rumored behavior. But let's discuss this and see what we come out with. But before actually discussing Estevao Willian, I wanted to discuss Kendry Paez as well. So we have Fabrizio Romano saying here, Chelsea are buzzing for Kendry Paez. There are already other clubs around the world, around Europe, thinking, why didn't we sign him? Chelsea are working hard on every single detail for Paez, monitoring his progress on and off the pitch so they can get the best version of him in 2025. So a very exciting player. I'm excited to see him next season and see what he can do at the highest level, whether he goes on loan or he actually does earn himself a spot in the first team. But let's go ahead and continue on Estevao. So Estevao Willian has played 3,037 minutes already at the age of 17. He has now picked up an injury on his left thigh against Criciúma and is expected to be out 3 to 4 weeks. His third injury in successive months, that's not good. So hopefully we can calm down a bit and monitor his minutes so he's not too susceptible to injuries. But we continue on. Estevao Willian is special. Fabrizio Romano saying here, this is what they think at Chelsea, and that's why they invested important money in him. The value of the player is growing, and they wait for him in 2025. They are closely monitoring all of his performances. Part of the add-ons in the contract of Estevao Willian is the Chelsea are for the performances of Willian Estevao at Palmeiras this season. So every goal and assist is more money Chelsea have to pay at Palmeiras. Chelsea are happy with his development. And I saw some people saying that, he needs to stop scoring goals because this isn't convenient for Chelsea. I don't think, and maybe they were joking, but I don't really think the ownership care for having to pay you for the incentives that you hit. We are an incentivized group. We have the money to pay for your bonuses. Otherwise, we wouldn't offer the bonuses. Anyways, so this is the part that gets a little controversial.
For every incentive you hit,
people are dumb.
That means the club does well. So, like, then you make more money from that. Yeah, you're right. People are dumb.
Yeah, people are stupid. But this is the controversial part here. Plans have already been made to hand Estevao Willian regular game time at Stamford Bridge during 25-26 season. Estevao made it clear to Chelsea that he wants to be deployed in the number 10 role when he arrives. Waffle. Absolute waffle. All right. This is where, like, Ben Jacob gives himself a bad rap now. Listen, everyone here on this panel knows that Estevao Willian likes to play on the right. And not only that, yeah, sure, he can play in the 10 or come centrally, but he and a lot of people know that the number 10 position is going to be either an Nkunku or a João Felix or who is right now Cole Palmer. And bro, sorry, right now, I don't care how good you are, Estevao. You have to prove it at Chelsea. And right now, the person who has proved it at Chelsea is Cole Palmer. I don't think you're better than Cole Palmer. So, anyways, your thoughts, guys, on this? This is just pure waffle.
He's better than Cole Palmer. Come on. Like, Cole Palmer's watched this season. Only
up,
what? Five
Chris,
assists?
shut
like,
up,
2
Chris.
goals?
Get out of here, Chris.
Like,
Chris.
Chris.
You're making the crowd.
Brother, this guy stinks!
Mudryk pushed him off the right side. Like, come on.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah, like you said, it's waffle, man. Like, we don't need to really I don't think we need to entertain like the idea of like Estevao Willian is better than Cole Palmer. He's not. Like Cole Palmer, what he did last season, even this season, he's still been solid. By the way, it's just like he's not on the spotlight because now we've got more players around him. He was unreal last season. He's probably the best player last season with like Foden and I guess Haaland. If you want to include Haaland, he was very good last season, and this season he's still looking solid as ever. He's not a pen merchant either. You know, he doesn't need penalties just to score goals. But yeah, like he'd be good. Like I don't know, like he'd be good backup and like rotationist player. I don't. How old is he? Like 18? It's years
17.
away, right?
He's gonna be turning 18.
It's years away. Like he's not gonna get. I don't think he's gonna get a sniff in until like he's 19, 20. Like I don't see it. Like there's so many great players at Chelsea right now who's more at their prime age, like 22 and up. Like, you know, Cole Palmer's like 22, Sancho's 24 if he can play well. Neto's like 23, 24. Not only Mudryk, he's looking good and he's like like a good age. You know, it's gonna take time. It's definitely gonna take time for him like to actually be put in this team. I think it's gonna like be loans and stuff like that. Like let's not gas it. He's not like Cole Palmer's level yet, or even like we're not even seeing it. Like we're just not seeing it. It's just ridiculous. I don't know why I gave it this much time.
Fair enough, Chris. I mean, Prime, I don't know if you want to add anything to this. Like you said before, it's pure waffle. But feel free to if you want to.
Brazilian Reece James, man, I'll be there.
Yeah,
But
listen, I'm excited for Estevao. We'll see what happens with him. What are you gonna say?
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
think he is. People need to be prepared that when he and Pires come, that they will probably go through the same development Vinny went through, where they're just shit for like 2 years. Especially what this fan base is like. We are as unforgiving as Real Madrid fans. You won't give them time, and they will need the time. So, which is why you have Neto and Sancho and all these guys ahead. You don't have to rely on them to perform well. So they can come in, they can come out, they can have a bad game, get dropped for a few weeks. We're in 2024. 2027, 28 is when I expect them to be like a very good player, performances wise. And that should be when they're like 19, 20. So, these guys are very young. Like, give them time. I'm okay to give them time.
Yeah, 100%. I am too. So I'll be patient with Estevao. He's going to be a rotation player. He's not going to just start immediately.
Don't treat them like you guys treat Mudryk. I know Mudryk's much older, but like the expectations we have of Estevao and Pires, don't treat them like you treat Mudryk. Don't call them shit. All of a sudden, just give them a few years. They're kids.
Speaking on Mudryk, Mudryk to Marselle. So let's talk about this because Mudryk's playing time has been minimized quite a bit, and we have the manager being asked questions in regards to his play time. So let's start off with this first tweet that I have for you guys right over here. Team Talk. The source is saying Chelsea wanted to get rid of several fringe players in January, and an 88 pound, well, this is disingenuous, but 88 million pound winger Mykhailo Mudryk is among those who could leave. Axel Disasi, Beno Badiashile, and Ben Chilwell could also be sold in the winter window. We continue on. Mykhailo Mudryk is ready to leave Chelsea in search for new opportunities, and Marseille want to sign him, according to Team Talk. And that's because of the links with De Zerbi, who is currently at Marseille. Enzo Maresca on Mykhailo Mudryk. I don't think it's lack of confidence. Misha is Misha. You have to accept the way he is. Hopefully he can get minutes and do better. And I think Maresca is going to be giving him minutes, is going to give him time to really prove himself. Because, listen, at the end of the day, I think there is a player there. Whether he turns consistent or not, time will tell. I was going to give him, well, I mean, listen, I'm in favor of selling him in January, but I'm also okay with having him, giving him this season to see if he can improve under an actual system and see what he can do. And we've given him multiple opportunities and it's frustrating, but Chris, what do you think on this, man? Do you think you should give Mudryk until the end of the season to see if he can improve, or
I think we should sort of sell now. Let's sell him now. No.
Okay.
It doesn't really, in all fairness, like say, oh, do you think we should keep him end the season? I think that's definitely going to happen. I really wouldn't mind him being on loan, but I don't think this saves the player to get into the squad. Actually, then again, it could be good. It could be good rotation. Realistically, I would like that. But yeah, like he's looking like he's got no confidence. Like we seen it this season at the start. Like every time the ball like come to him, like they'd pass at him, they just bounce off him. It really just like stuff like that. He just doesn't look with it. I'm sure he's obviously trying and stuff. Like there's nothing like that. It's just I think it's just a confidence thing, and I think it's just PR as well. Like all the hype when we signed him. I think it's just maybe.
You think Maresca is doing PR right here?
No. Sorry, I'm talking about.
He's saying he doesn't think it's a lack of confidence. And you're saying you think it is.
I don't know what it is. If it's not a lack of confidence, is it a lack of ability? Then? Is he saying it's a lack of ability? That's why he's not doing well.
I think what Maresca's saying is that this is the player he is. He's mid. He's just gonna find his form, or if
he's saying he's mid. He's saying he's mid.
Maybe you know what? Maybe he is saying he's just mid.
Basically, but I'm saying I didn't say Enzo Maresca saying PR. I'm saying with Chelsea when we signed him, I'm just thinking maybe we just got sucked into PR. Like he's Ukrainian. Like it's a bit PR. Like it's going when we sold Roman. I think we just got shafted there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I obviously want him to work out, but like he's just not it, is he? Like we found replacements. Neto clear, Sancho clear, Cole Palmer clear, Noni Madueke even clear. Like just he doesn't put out like have a foot to like any of these players. Like just not at all. I wouldn't mind, like, you know, he can play the Conference League, he can play the Carabao Cup, like, give him game time. I'm not saying don't give him game time. He still deserves game time. Like, you know, I don't want to shut out a player like that. He's young still. But yeah, it's looking over for him as a like Chelsea player. Like, I think we'll find other players like who will just replace Mudryk as a competition to Sancho and Neto and all that.
Big up to Cement Mixer family. Dark. Out of these 18 months, how many has Misha Mudryk been good?
The Liverpool game, the Newcastle game.
That was not 18 months ago, was it? Maybe it was.
Yeah, like he's been here for what, 18 months, I think.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, he's been here.
Like the Newcastle game, like where he saved us, you know, in the Carabao Cup. He's just a moments player. That's all. Like he has. I mean, he's not even a moments player. It's just like he has a little bit of moments. I can name a couple games where he looked good. That's about it. He was starting under Poch though. He was looking a bit decent in the 10. By the way.
Yeah, there were some games where he looked effective. Yeah.
He had some promising little moments, but he didn't really show any consistency to it. Let's say that.
Even Maresca has said, I think he mentioned something about his decision making and the intelligence on the pitch.
Yeah.
Like I forget the exact quotes, but it's just not there, and I think Maresca understands that too. So, and it is frustrating for him. I'm
Maybe
sure.
He's just a very limited player. Talents are not enough.
Maybe. Prime. I never really asked you, where do you stand on Mudryk? Like, are you in the camp of trying to get rid of him in January, or do you think you just want to give him a season with Maresca to see if in a system he flourishes?
Mudryk.
Yeah, Mudryk.
Yeah. Okay. People saw something in him for a reason. So I don't know. Like, the Zerbi rates him highly. So I don't know. I think I would put him out on loan for like a year or two. Because I think what Mudryk really needs is, I think he has ability, but like he doesn't have the brain to match his ability. Like, it's weird, but like when I look at someone like Garnacho, who is not that good per se, but Garnacho just has extreme levels of irrational confidence that keeps trying things. Mudryk doesn't necessarily always do that. In one moment he'll do something brilliant, and in the next moment he'll do something stupid. It's weird, but I think last season was a big hindrance on him because he wasn't coached properly. I think if we had kept Potter for him, that would have helped. So if he goes out on loan, maybe to Marseille, where De Zerbi is, if he goes there for like a year, away from the pressures of Chelsea and the Premier League, and he's just allowed to play games consistently week in, week out. He's allowed to make his mistakes. He's allowed to learn. I think that will really, really help him. I think a loan is best. The right type of loan, obviously, but I think he has to go on loan. I don't want him to go to Strasbourg because that's still Chelsea, and he will still have eyes on him. Let him go to Marseille, no eyes. He's just allowed to play and make his mistakes without being killed every moment. That's my opinion.
I agree. I think that's a solid take, and I would agree. I'm on the boat of just give him a loan. I don't think he's going to get much play time here, and I even think other players that should get more play time, Tariq George, for example, I think these players are better. And so I think put him out on loan, see what can happen in terms of in another team, and see what kind of Mudryk we get back. at the end of the season in next year's preseason. Very much like JP saying, cut your losses. The thing is, I don't think anyone's going to want him, and he needs to go on a loan where he's going to flourish and look good for someone else, and boom, we can sell him, maybe even to Arsenal, who knows. But that being said, let's go on to our final topic, because ladies and gents, I got to cut this show short because I have to go over to American Waffle and make sure we keep the Arsenal fan and the Man City fan over there humble. But that being said, ladies and gents, if you haven't done so already, smash those like buttons. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hit the bell notifications so you're notified whenever we go live and all that fun stuff. Let's go to our final topic, which is Ben Chilwell back in the squad. I know we touched on this briefly, but there's been a bit of a development in terms of what is actually going to be happening to Ben Chilwell, and believe it or not, I think he's gonna actually get some play time. Very possible. But let's go ahead and discuss it. More on Chilwell from Maresca. The idea for him was to leave. In the moment that he is here, he is one of the squad. He is training. He was not in the squad against West Ham. He will be in the squad tomorrow. Hopefully we can give him some minutes versus Borough tomorrow. Chilwell to get first involvement since his promotion from loan group to Chelsea first team squad in that article. Ben Chilwell seen here back in training as well, and Enzo Maresca saying if he will get minutes tomorrow, he responds with, I think so, he will be in the squad. So potentially Ben Chilwell back at Chelsea, back at getting back in the squad, back to see if he can be of use to. Maybe. I'll be honest with you. After
Chilwell banger.
Here's the thing. After how he was treated, I don't see this being good. To be honest, I don't think he's good. I don't. Maybe. Listen, he's been professional, right? He hasn't said anything publicly. He hasn't criticized anyone to journalists or whatever. But I do think the way this happened. Or not even the way this happened, but he probably doesn't agree with how it happened. He probably doesn't agree he should be iced out of the team. He probably has a bitter taste in his mouth. He's probably not happy with Maresca. Who's to say he throws the game? You know what I'm saying, Chris?
Well, he can try to throw the game, but like he's just one man. Mudryk's been trying to do that for a while right now, so it don't matter.
Oh, Mudryk doesn't do it on purpose, though.
No, he don't do it on purpose, but I mean, you can be shit in the game. It don't matter. Like, you're just one player. Like, and by the way, as well, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, if he feels like he's been hard done by, it's just the truth. Like, he doesn't suit Enzo Maresca's system. He's been not as good for the last few years, sadly. And I really like Ben Chilwell. Yeah. I'm not sure if you know, but I really like Ben Chilwell under Tuchel. I really liked him, and it's just the injuries as well. Like, it did fuck him over as well. I can't lie. Like, I feel like if he didn't get injuries, I like to think he would actually help in Enzo Maresca's system. I would like to think he could, but yeah. Playing in these games like Barrow and the Conference League, I don't mind it. Give him some minutes. It actually can boost up his price or maintain his price at least to like 20 million or whatever, right? Or I don't know how much he's worth, but 15, 20 million. So that'd be good for that. He is pushed out. Vega's ahead of him, and obviously Kukurea is just light years ahead of him. He's pushed out.
I agree. Prime, any thoughts on Benny Ben?
Yeah. Maresca, strike one.
Fair enough.
You think I'm joking. This is a strike. I'm not joking.
It's not that deep.
Chris, did I interrupt you?
No, I'm just saying it's not deep. I'm not interrupting you.
Chris, this is the second time you've interrupted me. I've not interrupted you.
Am I on your strike? Am I on your list?
Marshall, did I interrupt
Chris? Strike one. Chris, strike one.
Strike one.
Nah, strike two from Chris today, actually. But
shit, what happened to three?
Anyways, Chilwell. This is why I don't want him part of the squad, because he's going to take away minutes from other people that should be getting them. So, but we'll see. Hopefully we can get rid of him in January. But yeah, I just don't like him part of the squad, man. I don't want him.
No, I don't disagree. I don't hate him. Or
no,
I don't think Prime even hates him.
It sounds like
There
it.
was but there was a point I remember listening to Prime back in the day where there was a point where he didn't rate Chilwell, but he thought Chilwell was a good left back.
No,
But he's not that person anymore.
there was never a point. I never wanted Chilwell. From the start, that he was wasting people.
No, he was good. He was good on Tuchel.
Good for you.
Not good
never
for me, man. He was good for Tuchel. Not good for me.
Good for you. Good for you. Well,
You really like Chilwell, you mean?
well, Tuchel's dead, and so is Chilwell.
Well,
God, you
Chilwell,
sound
we're not excited to see you, but
Hey,
let's
I
see.
am.
Maybe
I
you
want
prove
to
us
see him ball
wrong.
out.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
mean, borrow
Let
tomorrow
him score a banger.
is
That'd be pretty
maybe, but I don't even think he can anymore.
fun. Are you
That's
Bro,
the
he's
thing.
not starting tomorrow.
He probably gets substitute minutes if he plays at all. So
Hey, listen.
yeah.
You know, Mark doesn't use Twitter like that. Chris, have you been seeing people? They take a screenshot of their notepad and it has the player's name
Yeah,
and the minutes and the mistakes.
yeah.
I'm doing that for Chilwell. Okay, I'm doing that for Chilwell. Don't care. Him and Enzo are both on my list this season. Don't care.
Oh, wow.
Fair play. All right, ladies and gents, that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We're going to raid out to Stoffy TV. American Waffle is currently running over there. I'm probably, most likely, going to be there as well right after this. So if you haven't done so already, copy and paste that raid message, spam it over there at American Waffle on Stoffy TV. Let them know where you're coming from. If you haven't done so already as well, smash the like button. It helps out the channel with the algorithm. Subscribe because it helps us grow as a community. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss out whenever we go live. Check out the links in the description for more content. Leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on everything we discussed today. And be sure to check out the memberships because that might be something that interests you. Big up to our members. Big up to the members who use our emojis as well. I'm sure you guys enjoy those. And also, big up to our proper casual and higher tiered members who get shout outs at the end of every show. And that's going to go out to EE, Uncle Gestures FC, Hassan Nawaz, Dark, Adrian, A. Soliman, and Scott. Thank you so much for your support at the proper casual level. Tomorrow, we will be back for a review of the Boro game. And I'm expecting a win. But if it's not a win, we might have to have some really uncomfortable conversations, ladies and gents. But all right, let's go ahead and raid out. And as always, guys, you have a wonderful night. Stay casual. Peace.